Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. 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 Grind the tape.
The tape.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
The tape.
UGA game day, boy, we ball out. Pull up, put the whole conference in the doghouse. Leave them 6 feet, see me on the win streak. All-star status, go coach, and the bench deep.
Right.
Offense on 10, how we run it? Your best ain't nothing, we gon' send them boys punting.
Yeah.
Black and red, got them dead on arrival. Defense hunkered down for the tie. Hey, you don't want it with the dogs. Film guy on it, you don't want it with my dog. Break it down, play by play, that's the day-to-day.
Yeah.
They know we ain't come to play, boy, it's UGA.
Right.
Kirby Smart, I cannot play the fool. Back to back, we did not come to lose. Back to back, like we got something to prove. Pay your dues, dog nation on the move. What's up?
We doing a little bit different around here.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
The tape. The tape.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face.
Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Shut up and grind the tape.
Shut up. Let's grind.
We ain't gonna play, we ain't gonna play. Them dogs in your face. Shut up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape. The
Shut
tape.
up and grind.
Let's grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up and grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape.
The tape.
Shut up and grind.
Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro. Grind the tape, bro.
Shut up. The tape. Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to MBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guy Network on a fabulous Monday evening here on the show. We've got an absolutely loaded one for you, as always, here on the network. LSU fired Brian Kelly after another dismal performance at home against Texas A&M this weekend. We'll talk about it. Not only get the boys' thoughts on the firing, but also the potential hiring. Who is ultimately going to get that job, or who is up for that job, rather, is the discussion to talk about tonight. We will have our Week 9 recap from the boys tonight as well, and I'll add some additional thoughts there as always. I can't keep my mouth shut. We got Week 10 previews on the network here as well tonight, and much, much more. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button on the front end of the show tonight. We got a lot of people watching. We'll have a lot of people watching. If you're watching us live, keep firing off in that chat. If you're watching us on rewatch, welcome in. Make sure you try to join us live. We're live 8 to 10 o'clock here Monday through Thursday. But as always, hit that thumbs up button here on the show and get after it. Let's start down there in the Bayou, boys, where after a second straight SEC loss, third out of the last 4 matchups in the SEC, taking L's at LSU, Brian Kelly ultimately takes the L and gets fired down there. And a lot of rumors going around, a lot of rumors swirling. I guess there was a meeting between he and the athletic director this weekend, and it necessarily didn't go very well. Sounds like Brian Kelly's trying to put it out there that he kind of wanted out, but no. They were already passing the collection hat, it sounded like, inside the suite booth up there at LSU. I saw a report today that one booster took the lump sum on most of the buyout down there. Like, that's how mad he was. He lost the fan base entirely. And I talked about it Sunday, and I want you guys' thoughts. But obviously, for me, there are 3 no-nos, and I got a top 10 of why we should have known this was going to happen and why we should have known this was a bad fit. But there are a couple of no-nos down there. Those 3 home losses, 2022, I think it was, Tennessee home loss, out of nowhere, made no sense. You get your doors blown off against Alabama last year. That one was, hey, we might need to think about passing the collection table now. And then this one this past week, absolutely unacceptable at that university. Boys, I want y'all's thoughts before I give you my top 10 reasons why we should have known.
It was interesting watching this game.
Welcome in, by the way.
Thank you. It was interesting watching this game unfold. It felt like you were watching the firing happen in that moment. Like as that game, as the minutes were dwindling off the clock, as it crept into the fourth quarter, I felt as if I was watching the last of Brian Kelly at LSU. Just like watching the series of events in that game, watching the scoreboard end in the result that it did, watching Brian Kelly's reactions, watching Garrett Nussmeier just look absolutely defeated on the sideline. I mean, just had to take a moment, it looked like, of just, God, how did we get to this point?
I mean, we as A&M believers, Jonathan, you and I probably could have foreseen this. A rolling of sorts from the Aggies, but if you're an Aggie, naysayer, maybe you didn't know.
Yeah, I did say that I thought Texas A&M had the ability to make this one very ugly for LSU in the exact manner that I thought it could happen of. They were up big going into the fourth quarter. That stadium emptied out rather quickly, and the next thing you know, Brian Kelly no longer the head coach at LSU. That's how I thought they could make it look this ugly, and that's exactly what they did, and it played out the way that I thought it could.
Do I see a certain college football channel nearing 80,000 subscribers? Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. What do you got for me here?
My first reaction to this was shout out to LSU for realizing something doesn't work and immediately cutting the head off the snake. And they've done this. I mean, Les Miles was a 9-3 team that beat a top 10 opponent in 2015. He was fired in 2016. Ed O won the national title in 2019, was fired before the 2021 season ended. Brian Kelly had a high.
Probably the shirtless laps around campus.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Brian Kelly had a Heisman winner 2 years ago, and they fired him before this season. LSU does not play around. If it is not a fit, if things aren't going well, they do not wait around. They do not sit on their hands. They do not say, well, let's see how this season finishes. They will fire you immediately. And that was very apparent on Sunday. I mean, it was less than 24 hours after that game finished. So that was the biggest takeaway I have from that. But obviously, all the things we've already said, it's very obvious Brian Kelly was never going to work out at LSU. He was not the right fit. And Saturday night was the amalgamation of all those things going wrong. The offense looked horrendous the whole night. They basically had to rely on Marcel Reed making mistakes and a block punt for them to stay in that game for the first half. And then at the end, it was very, very clear that LSU team was not the caliber Texas A&M was on.
I've got a very tasty top 10. Do you want it?
Yeah,
it's a tight top 10, too. No OLIs. It's the top 10 reasons we should have known this Brian Kelly experience at LSU wasn't going to go right. Now, this isn't in a timeline order or fashion, but rather importance of note, that one was the point we should have known. Number 10, again, the random home embarrassments. The out of nowhere, what in the hell happened? What the F are we doing type of Brian Kelly performances. The Tennessee one back in 2022, the Bama home loss last year, 42-3, I believe it was at home, embarrassing. And this one against A&M. Number 9, the game 1 issues. Now, I know he got over this plank or over this hurdle this year, but the game 1 issues of just not showing up and not being prepared and not winning, finding ways to win those football games, I think it was an indication of what they do in the offseason under Brian Kelly, or rather what he does in the offseason, riding jet skis and playing golf. Number 8, letting Denbrock walk. We should have known. Letting Denbrock walk, we should have known. We should have been like, whoa. Because even if we didn't know, maybe we're not an insider there at LSU, but as an outsider looking at it now, it looks to me like one of those moments where Brian Kelly thinks a little bit much of himself and allows an offensive coordinator to just walk to Notre Dame for no other reason than we think we can get by without him. Right? The arrogance of that, the lack of foresight to know that we're not quite prepared for this type of a loss to just let an offensive coordinator go, let alone maybe it was a disagreement amongst head-ups right there between those two. I don't even know that to be the case. Maybe it was. Seems like Brian Kelly, not necessarily the most likable guy.
Yeah.
Probably not that easy to work with for an extended period of time. Number 7, the firing of the initial defensive staff. You're 18 months into this run, bud, and you think you got to torch half the building? That's kind of fishy. That doesn't make me feel all necessarily rosy inside. 6, 5, and 4 on this list are all personnel things at LSU with which I do not think this program can ever be if you expect to have this job. All right, they were bad. Historically, LSU bad at defensive back until this year. They went 3 draft cycles under Brian Kelly, and granted, the first one wasn't really his class, wasn't really his position, whatever you want to make an excuse for. But they went 3 draft cycles at LSU without a top 90 draft pick at defensive back. What? At LSU, Louisiana State University? Now, they got really good this year, but left the jokers out on the field way too damn long. So that's number 6. Bad at DB at LSU until this year. That's crazy to me. That can't happen. Number 5, they have maintained a bad level, a not good, not winnable, not LSU level of play at the line of scrimmage for his entire tenure. That to me is insane. That makes no sense. You can walk around that entire state and find big, mean, physical human beings playing high school football, and they were porous and bad on the lines of scrimmage his entire tenure. What is that? Number 4, the biggest what is that? Should have known. Buddy, you're at Louisiana State University and you're taking transfers at wide receiver? What? Excuse me? How? I think I know how. I don't want to victim blame here, but like, Cortez Hankton didn't do a very good job at Georgia, we felt like, as someone who watched that program very tightly at their recruiting rankings at wide receiver. It's turning around a little bit since they've changed that and since he went to LSU. And it went downhill since he went there. Don't even get me started on Tristan Keys getting lost to Tennessee. So what are we doing there, right? That's number 4. Number 3, the recruiting videos. Very cringe. I think the internet got him for that one. But that ain't even football. That's the internet. All right, the internet also got him for number 2, family. Out here sounding like Simple Jack from Tropic Thunder. All right? That was obviously very weird. And number 1, the number 1 reason, and I will have red alerts, alarms on this for any blue blood that loses a football coach and their entire fan base goes, thank God he's gone. Can we get somebody else in here? The entire Notre Dame fan base and beat reporting scene was like, yeah, get this 9-10 win, like lazy football coach up out of here. We're good with that guy. Let him go down to LSU. Anytime you lose a football coach that wins 10 games a year and gets them into playoff contention and they're like, we were kind of tired of it. That guy getting gone, that's crazy to me. We need to reset number 3, camera number 3. That lighting looks different.
Yeah. So the whole thing, though, with Brian Kelly and leaving Notre Dame, I feel like that is kind of a different situation because Brian Kelly was at Notre Dame for a long time. And I think that what we've seen with fan bases, and especially it's a football program that expects excellence and expects their team to be a national title contender, when you don't deliver national titles, like they had multiple shots and opportunities to win national titles with Brian Kelly at Notre Dame, and they failed to do so. And more times than not, it was an embarrassing fashion. It was making the playoffs and you're getting beat down in the first round of the playoffs. It was making the national title game in 2012 where everybody knew before that game was even played of, it doesn't matter if it's Georgia or if it's Alabama, Notre Dame is going to get crapped on by one of these SEC teams. So when you go through multiple years of that, yeah, a fan base is probably going to be a little sour on a head coach that, while has brought a lot of wins to a program and has had success, he hasn't delivered what we expect out of this program, which is a national title. So
shit, he's not even close to getting to a playoff.
Oh yeah, no,
crazy at LSU.
Yeah, I agree, and I think the other thing too, like going back to the game that happened on Saturday, I think that the fashion that LSU lost that game tells me that like everybody in that building was just done. Like they knew they knew the collapse was about to happen because as soon as Texas A&M captivated the momentum in that game, it was like everybody was like, "Yep, here it is. Like this is exactly what we feared could happen this season or in this football game," and it happened, and everything went to crap.
The irony of this situation is that 3 years ago we looked at this hire and said, "Man, Brian Kelly is a guy who for 10 years or however long he was at Notre Dame was dragging that a program that has no advantages in recruiting, has no advantages in spending and all of this, was dragging them to 10-2 every year consistently, sometimes popping up with a playoff. Imagine what he can do with the resources at LSU. Mm-hmm. And here we sit with Notre Dame being a much better program than LSU is after he left.
And I had this realization today that I remember giving the takes when he got there that this might be the stable parent. That this might be the guy that, little did I know, he was the distracted parent. He was the parent that was never around. He was the parent that was golfing on Saturdays when he should be watching the kids.
They've had 2 of those now.
He was the parent that was, probably drinking late at night instead of putting the kids down to bed. Like he was the parent that wasn't engaged when he's down here at LSU making $80 million on a 10-year deal. Like, I didn't know that was what the way we're going to get down here. I thought we were going to get engaged football coach that was going to actually manage the day-to-day operations, not somebody who is taking vacations on bye weeks.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. I didn't realize this was going to be his retirement fund. If that was going to be the case, I don't think anybody would have signed up for this one.
No.
So that's what blew my mind about this failure. I didn't think that it was going to be like this. Now, there are people that say that there are Brian Kelly defenders. If Brian Kelly were on here, he would be like, well, I didn't have the competitive advantages that maybe I thought I was, because when I got down there, my first 2 or 3 years, we were under a crowdsourcing type of recruitment, and my collective wasn't what I thought it was going to be. And that is, to an extent, reality, because they did lose guys like Jakeem Stewart. They did lose guys like Bryce Underwood to Michigan. They did get overpaid for recruits. So it wasn't like he had Ed Ogeron's perfect roster. So there is some defense there. That being said, bullcrap, look at what they spent on the offseason roster this year. They gave you every answer you possibly needed, and you pooped it. You pooped it away.
And one of the more alarming things to me, especially now, like after he was fired, is the amount of people that rush to the internet to go and say, this guy sucks. I do not like this guy. Like, we have former players, Malik Neighbors being one of them, going to their Instagram story basically saying, like, yeah, kick rocks, dude. Like, get out of here.
Yeah, you suck.
That, to me, is what that's, like, really eye-opening. And I, like, part of me says, like, should have known this, because the amount of times that I watched an LSU football game with Brian Kelly as a head coach, and we saw the same scenes that we did from this past weekend of him mother effing every coach on the sideline, him having disgust on his face when certain things happen, him sitting at the podium after a game crapping on media members for asking questions about the run game.
You're spoiled.
Like, the sign should have been there, in my opinion. But now that it's all up in the air and out in the open, it's like, wow, this was really bad.
I feel like that last name has way more letters in it. Samardzija? They're not an A before the M?
I don't think so.
You Google check that one?
I did.
He played for Brian. Nah, he played for old big fella.
I did miss an A.
I told you.
Let me fix
how about this guy? Spell checking that guy. Never in my world would I thought that would have happened just now. ADD brain going crazy. Are we good on Cook and Brian Kelly?
Yeah.
Are we good to move on
so.
into talking about actual candidates for this potential for this job opening?
Yes.
We all good there. Candidates, first and foremost, it starts with Lane Kiffin, obviously. I think that is the big whale that they are hunting, that is realistic outside of, will Nick Saban come out of retirement? We all say no. But you have to ask, right? You have to call Jimmy Sexton and be like, hey, we're going to talk about Lane, but Nick don't want this one, right?
I mean,
and then we can move on to talking about how much it's going to cost to get Lane out of Ole Miss and whether or not he wants to leave.
Nick did kind of say in passing, it was interesting,
that this is the only job he ever regretted.
Well, that, and also, like, I enjoy being retired and all this, but
Miss Terry
Miss Terry always comes with when she sees that money, it's like, ooh. So I don't think Nick Saban's coming out of retirement for this.
Christian,
but
3 years, $60 million. Does Miss Terry say no?
I don't know, man.
We're not asking you to build a whole nother regime over here, bud. All we're asking is the portal era. You come down here, you get a roster together, go win a chip right quick, and then you can call it a day. So that's all we want.
Nice and simple. And
I mean, Ed O did it in 3 years. Why can't you? Nah, he did it in 5.
There's nothing simple.
4.5? 4.
There's nothing simple about college football right now.
All right, so let's put that one aside. Crackpot theories off the table. Let's actually talk about the real ones. What were you also in?
I was just saying, I mean, Nick Saban hadn't won a national title in 3 seasons before he left. So
it's a good take. It was close, though. I thought Lane had 2 comments today. Obviously, he was on McAfee. I thought he had 2 very poignant comments that I wanted to talk about tonight. First and foremost, his analogy to the pre-portal process that players go through and what he's going through right now as a coach is why this guy, I think, has gone through this maturation as a football coach. He is so much more relatable to young men than he was when he was 35 years old. As he gets older, I feel like he can relate to these kids and speak to them. He's much more wise. He's wiser as a man, obviously. And this is an example of it. When he gets asked about another job, instead of doing what all these goofy coaches do of deny, I am where my feet are. I'm so focused on what I got going on that no way I'm even taking those phone calls. No way I'm even talking to my agent. We all know you're lying, buddy. Anyways, instead of doing that, what does he do? He compares it to what his players go through right now, which is pre-portaling, right? He's got a freshman, Winston Watkins, number 17, keeps making huge plays. Made huge plays against Georgia, made huge plays against Washington State, huge plays against LSU, a third down critical against LSU, a huge play against Georgia, a huge play this past weekend against Oklahoma on second down to flip the field. He's a true freshman, highly recruited out of high school if I'm not mistaken. But Lane says when a player like Winston has a great play or a great game, his phone immediately gets blown up with pre-portal phone calls. Hey, come here. We'll give you more money. We'll give you more opportunities. That's the same thing that's happened to me now as a football coach. We go win. Our program's great. Our staff's great. Our players great. They see that. They want that. They want our system. And now they throw money and opportunities at me. So I tell my players all the time to be where we are and do what we got to do. This is the same thing that happens. That type of ability to take what's happening to you and relate it to your football players and your team, that's coaching. That's teaching. That is being able to relate. We talk about all the time. What is recruiting? It's relationships. It's being able to relate. What is coaching? It's education. It's relationships. That's what it is. That's why he's winning, guys. It's not just because all the life changes that he's made in his life. It's because of that type of little minute mental shift to take something that is a negative right now, all the distractions, and relate it to what his players go through on a day-to-day basis. I thought that was poignant. And obviously he doubled down with no decision I have ever made in my life moving forward is going to be about money. And Jimmy Sexton hates to hear me say that because he does. And that's the reality. There is no doubt that Florida and LSU can pay him far more than LSU or Ole Miss can. And even if Ole Miss tries everything they can to leverage themselves to match whatever LSU or Florida's going to throw at this guy, they will out-leverage themselves as a athletic administration. That is facts. All right? So if anyone wants to argue, Ole Miss fans, you can try. And I'm with you, underdog in the fight. I'm with you. You can try to pay this guy $15 million, $16, $17 million a year like these schools are going to throw at him, but you will out-leverage your entire athletic administration doing so. And that is not the reality at LSU. That is not the reality at Florida.
I guess the question now is kind of steering into if Lane Kiffin says no this cycle, do we just assume that he stays at Ole Miss?
Yeah, he'll retire there. If he says no here, he will retire there apart from an NFL job.
Yeah, I guess the only reason why I kind of asked that question is because we've seen situations where, like, I'll use Matt Campbell for an example. Matt Campbell seems happy with where he is at right now as a head coach, but we also know that there was a world where he could have gone to the NFL, probably a world where he's maybe somewhat regretting that.
Maybe.
So, like, it's great that Lane Kiffin is happy and is doing well at Ole Miss, but there's also a world where, hey, 3 or 4 years from now, it may not look like this. It may not be this.
I did see a great take today. If he stays at Ole Miss, there is no more of this, oh, this year's the window, we got to go. No. You're going to build this thing every single year. So your boosters better strap in.
Yeah.
You know, it's got to be like that. If Lane Kiffin says no, here's my order of candidates because we're way up on the clock already. Marcus Freeman, make him say no. Kenny Dillingham, make him say no. John Summerall, make him say no, which he won't. I think it'll end at Summerall.
Yeah.
Sneaky, is this the Mike Elko of this coaching offseason hire? Jeff Brom at Louisville. Mike Elko was a guy who constantly ate and forward and did more with less at programs like Duke and the ACC, and then became a stable parent at a mega power resource-wise with regards to Texas A&M, and now they are what they are. I'm just saying Jeff Brom could be that. It'll not, like, if they hired Jeff Brom at LSU, that fan base would riot. They'd feel upset. They wouldn't feel like they got the big enough name. They would feel like they didn't win the press conference. But that guy might be a winner. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So just my thoughts there. I don't think James Franklin would go over well at LSU. That's not – I don't even put him in this conversation. All of those names are better than what they fired walked out the door. That's all that matters in my opinion. If we have a football coach that's checked out, we don't have a football coach and he got to go. Like, damn, we're 5-3. That's bad enough. We're getting embarrassed at home. That's bad enough. But the football coach ain't trying anymore. He's got to go. I am keeping my eye on John Summerall. I think this is the next great young defensive-minded football coach that is obsessed with the process. He strikes me as someone who is a lunatic and is a program CEO that has a defensive mind and is not – like, I feel like offensive guys are personality-eccentric. Defensive guys are process-oriented lunatics. He strikes me as the next great one that you might catch in post-game looking like this because he just beat Penn State in a whiteout. That's the kind of guy.
Yeah, I mean, John Summerall and Jeff Brom are two names you probably don't want to sleep on this cycle. Speaking of sleep, don't sleep on our friends over at Sleeper, right up there in the left corner.
Attaboy.
Use promo code Brooks today, and you'll get up to $100 match. Sleeper, if you're wondering, is a fantasy sports and real money gaming app, which is focused on bringing people together between gaming and sports. Has over 6 million users in 2023. That number has only gone up since then. Again, head on down to Sleeper and use promo code Brooks today to get a $100 match on your first deposit.
100% deposit match up to $100 with our friends at Sleeper. Promo code Brooks.
Free money.
Are you kidding me?
Why wouldn't
Free money, 100% deposit match? I mean, that means you put in 100 and you start with 200. Y'all see what that means? That's how that math be mathing. Shout out to our friends over at Sleeper.
Shout out indeed.
Shout out indeed. Week 9 reactions?
Let's do them.
Let's be quick. All right, let's be really, really quick. We got a lot to talk about. The A&M side of things, I thought they showed championship DNA yet again. Kirby, I'm not going to even go rag on you. I think are you a believer now? Are you good?
I mean, make the playoff and I will be. You've proven me wrong.
Dude, you
just quadruple down. Why don't you,
listen,
dude?
You missed the entire launch point here for yourself because I figured I already knew what you were going to say coming in here, and what you should have said is they could still go 8-4.
I mean, they could.
Statistically, that is possible. They could still go 8-4.
But I'm not.
That's what you needed to come in here saying.
Hammer that
God,
bit.
man.
I'm not going to hammer that bit because I truly believe like A&M looks great right now. They looked dominant in that second half.
Christian. Until
they reach the college football playoff, I'm not buying it.
Christian,
Until
you've
they
watched
do
this
it.
conference for so long, and you come in here on a Monday and you want to poo-poo a football team that in the second quarter of that football game on the road at LSU in front of 103,000 at night had a fumbled snap, a ball that goes early off the quarterback's arm, rolls back behind the line of scrimmage, automatically punt the possession. The next time they get the football, they walk it down and throw a pick in the red zone. The next time they get the football, they throw a pick. And they 38-0 the football team the rest of the game.
Yeah, they had an incredible game. They looked great. They are deserving of where they are right now.
Make the playoff?
Make the playoff and prove me wrong. That's fine. Like, again, I will happily sit here on selection day if they're one of the 12 teams and be like, I was wrong, guys. They proved me wrong. They finally did it.
Personally, I was going to let you ride, but I think you should have to sit here and go, I'm wrong. Y'all did it against LSU on the road, something you ain't done since 1994.
Yeah, that's a great win. Like, what they did on Saturday night was fantastic.
There you go.
I'm not disputing that at all. That's not my take here. The idea of me being bought in involves them making the playoffs.
There's just so many.
Show me and I will.
There's so many simulations of that football game that don't go with 9 plays, 75 yards, touchdown, punt return, touchdown, 3-and-out, punt return, 40-plus yards, touchdown, 3-and-out, touchdown, run you out of your building type of stuff.
Yeah.
That to me, and this is week in, week out with this football team. They are finding ways to, like, if they have to be complimentary football, they are, right? Defense gives up a score, can't get off the field against Arkansas. What do? We get the ball and milk the clock, go into milk mode, walking down the field, right? And then they do this on the road in a game in which they had to. So, like, I am at the point where if and when Texas A&M wins a national title, we will look back and go, so I'll get asked on a radio station, hey, when did you think this was possible? When did you think this was a thing? When did they show championship DNA? And I'm going to say, well, basically all year, but really that one. Really that one. So that's me. That's how I felt about that football game.
Yeah, and I know that there's people in the chat right now who's like, well, we just got done talking about how bad LSU is. What I would also argue is we have watched the SEC this entire season, and we have talked about on this show how there is close conference games every single week. Kentucky is making close games, who we believe is the worst team in the conference. They're finding ways to make close battles. South Carolina had a close battle with Alabama. I don't care who you are in this conference. If you go out there into someone's building and you run them out of your own place, that's a great, impressive win, in my opinion. So,
yeah, no, don't let it be misconstrued of me trying to undercut this victory alone. This was a dominant performance. This was fantastic.
Just all 8 of them collectively doubting.
I'm doubting Texas A&M making the playoff until they do it.
Attaboy.
The same way you would say I'm doubting Georgia beating Alabama until they do it. Until you prove me that you can do it, I'm not going to buy it. As long as all the metrics ahead of time tell me that they will do it, I'm going to wait until you actually do it.
Jonathan's so right. The layup was there.
8-4
finish.
I'm not laying up. I'm not trying
to.
to.
You're first unless it doesn't happen on a Monday.
I'm not trying to score points here. I'm just saying, like, that's my take on Texas A&M.
I think they're the best team in the conference.
They looked like it in the second half.
I would still pick Alabama on a neutral.
I think they're the best team in the conference.
That's fair. Let's talk about that Texas comeback. Sorry, Vandy and Missouri. Ugly football game. Congrats on Vandy winning it. Are we good on that?
Sorry to both.
I don't mean to do that.
Crappy game, though.
Crappy game, not entertaining. If that were Iowa and Minnesota, we would make fun of that. We'd come on here and go, classic Big Ten rock fight. Vandy literally took that game.
Yeah.
I said that on Sunday. They literally took a mesh point in the fourth quarter, went 5 minutes, 9 plays, 55 yards, or 44 yards, excuse me. I didn't even know how it was mathematically possible. Do you hear what I just said? 9 plays, 44 yards, 5 minutes off the clock.
Disgusting.
Hey, and had 2 incompletions in the 9 plays. Mathematically, I don't know how they ran that amount of clock off with that little amount of field to work with.
My biggest takeaway from the Vanderbilt-Missouri game is that Missouri's going to be all right if they hold on to Matt Zollers. That was my biggest takeaway from that game. I think that they have a bright future with him at quarterback.
Which, why wouldn't they? They're already paying him $1 million.
Right. So I think that they made a good decision there. It's unfortunate that it got to that point for them where they're now on their third-string quarterback, but I think you saw some positive things from him. Even though you lost the game, I thought he played pretty well.
But yeah, my takeaway was heading into this game, I thought that neither team was going to make the playoff, and I feel that way much more now. So.
Let's talk about that Texas comeback. I gave my Texas thoughts on Sunday. I want you guys' thoughts on Texas's comeback, and then I got some words for the millions of Mississippi State fans out there.
Ooh.
Actually, I'll give those first. Look, Mississippi State fans, I know you're still winless in conference play under Jeff Levy. But guys, this was a football program that last year lost all 9 of their conference games by an average of 18 points per game. And they just had 3, albeit gut-wrenching conference losses in which you could look at all 3 of those games and think we either could have won or probably should have won. But now, I know I hate to do the Hugh Freeze thing. We're so close, but you're so close, man. You're so close, and you were a football program that wasn't even in the building or parking lot in these fourth quarters the last several years. So there's that. Just you're on the mend, man. You're on the up. We are so up out there at Mississippi State, even though it feels like we just had our heart pulled out and stomped on 3 weeks in a row.
I think it would have been really easy not easy, I shouldn't say that, but I think that it could have gone in the fourth quarter of this Texas-Mississippi State game where Texas could have kind of just accepted their fate, kind of just accepted like, well, this is kind of the issue. Like the issues that we've had all season are the reason why we're down 17 points at this moment. But instead, you were on the road and you found a way to pull out a win in overtime against Mississippi State. And on top of that, Arch Manning had his best game of his entire career as a starter for the Longhorns. That's the biggest thing for you is that your young quarterback who has struggled at times this year and hasn't exactly looked the part of a starting quarterback in the SEC. In this game, he showed up in some very big moments for you and made some very big plays. And now he looks like maybe if he can build off that moving forward down the back half of the stretch of the season, and in a scenario where you cannot lose anymore, you have to win out if you want to make the playoff. Perhaps that's something that you can continue to build off of, and maybe you still make the college football playoff. Yeah, it's Mississippi State. Yeah, it's a team that you probably felt like you should have beat the crap out of, and probably you're way more talented than them. And yeah, you probably are, but at the end of the day, all we ask you to do in this conference is win and find ways to win. And you certainly found a way to win in a scenario in which it was like, there's no way they pull this one out.
Outscored them 24-0 in the final 9.5 minutes in overtime of that football game to ultimately come back and win. Kirby, what were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I came into this, our What If Wednesday was kind of, what if Mississippi State has an offensive explosion against Texas? And how much would that worry you as far as the fact that we thought coming into the season that, if anything, this Texas defense was unstoppable or you could not move the ball on them? So for Mississippi State to have the success it had worries me greatly. Now, Arch Manning picked things up, and Arch Manning was quite literally putting that offense on his back between the fact that you've got wide receivers dropping balls. There's some questionable play calling decisions there. The offensive line has been abhorrent all season. But I walked away from that game feeling a little bit worse about Texas simply because, that defense is gettable on top of all the things we just talked about in the offense. It's great that Arch Manning finally had the Arch Manning has arrived game, but by the way, he might be out next week.
Yeah.
Like that hit he took, he was unconscious.
Yeah, he was. We're going to talk about it in our preview of Texas Vandy. I hope that kid plays at 100% whenever he gets back, but I saw a lot in that dude to make me rebuy stock in him.
That's fair.
He found ways to win and get them back in that football game to win when nothing around him got better. Nothing. Go watch that tape we put out on Sunday. everything around him continues to crumble. They're not helping him out as an offensive staff, in my opinion, still. They went Oklahoma and Kentucky trying to help him out. And then this week it was like, nope, we're in an explosives. We're down 24. So we're just going to let him get hit for the last 35 minutes of this football game. And that's what it was. And he found ways to absolutely just deal. And we're going to talk about that in our preview. But, man, what a gut-wrenching loss, obviously, for Mississippi State. We talked about it.
Yeah, they've had a few of those.
They'll get one.
Speaking of gut-wrenching losses, South Carolina.
Oh.
Yeah, man, that's tough. I want to talk about it from the Bama end here. I think Alabama has two character flaws offensively. Okay, defensively, it's giving up run creases and run spits, and I think they kind of solved some of that this past weekend. I don't remember a certain South Carolina play. I thought they got walked on scoring possessions. They didn't have one big explosive that got them this week, did they?
Nick Harbor
on a catch, though, right?
Mm-hmm. But they gave up a couple of gashers in that game.
So that's their run defensive efficiency and defensive problem. But offensively, they have two character flaws. One is occasionally they can't run the ball and just avoid it and just disappear from the run game entirely. That happened, and that's shown up, and that's continued to show up. They get away with it because Ty Simpson's so dialed and so accurate and so underneath. And the other character flaw is that they have bad issues against speed rushes. They did against Florida State. They did against Tennessee. They did against Missouri. They did this weekend against South Carolina. And they will continue to have problems at right tackle and left tackle getting ran around. And it'll show up and it'll keep them in tight football games. And that's obviously a character issue and a character flaw about this football team. But the uncharacteristic thing that showed up Saturday, and the reason I felt like this football game was tight, was because they had uncharacteristic drops from Jeremy Bernard. I expect Ryan Williams to drop footballs at this point. That is who he is. Tight ends dropping footballs, not them. That's not what they are. Ty Simpson missing dig routes that are wide open that will run for 40-yard explosives on 3rd and 10. Not them. Completely uncharacteristic of this football team. So they found a way to win. The defense got them a possession. The offense matriculated the football late in the ball game when they found ways to, early on in the football game, not do that, right? Get penalties, take negatives, take sacks. They closed the football game like they needed to offensively and found a way to win when they were playing uncharacteristic Alabama football. I think that's important to point out. That's a huge thing in an era of football where last year they find a way to lose that ball game. There's no doubt in my mind. They find a way.
Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely deserves credit for the fact that you outscored them 15-0 or 15-7. You went on a 15-point run in the fourth quarter to win that game, and stuff like that should not go unnoticed in an environment like that. Like, it was certain. There's certainly definitely DNA aspects you can pull out of that win and say this was great. I think that we all need to start raising red flags about Bama again, though, because we went through the 6 weeks of saying, all right, the Florida State loss, that's one and done. They're behind them. This game proved to me that, hey, the Kalen DeBoer sleeper, now, although they won, is great. The Kalen DeBoer sleeper, the what are they doing Bama game is still very much in play. Now, again, it's fantastic that you won that game. It's fantastic for you that Russell Faison dropped a pass that turned into a touchdown for you. If that doesn't happen, I don't know if you win that game. My takeaway from this was, yes, it's a great win for Alabama. I don't want to undermine it, but it does worry you the fact that, okay, the Alabama what are you doing game is still very much on the table for Kalen DeBoer. They had one offensive touchdown with 6 minutes left in the fourth quarter. That is and you can say, and yes, it is attributed to the fact that they had wide receivers dropping balls. They're not very good at defending against the speed rush on the edges, multiple things like that, but 7 points offensively against South Carolina's defense, which isn't a world beater, is not good at all.
Yeah, I would. The only reason why maybe I would be hesitant to put up red flags right now is they have LSU at home after a bye week, so we'll see what that one looks like. Obviously, Alabama going to probably be considerably favored in that one as well.
And they'll win that.
That one's at home. Oklahoma's going to be at home. We'll see how Oklahoma continues to finish out the season. Then you got Eastern Illinois, and then you go to Auburn. If you're going to find a letdown game
boys, that football team just walked through a month of hell, went on the road, played a pooper, and found a way to win. Yeah. I'm not going to sit on here and ever red flag that one. That's a green flag to me. So that's just the way I feel about it.
I mean,
but that's Bama Brooks talking. You know, that's probably Bama Brooks talking.
If Alabama did not lose to Florida State this year and show you that,
you'd be cool with it.
I'd be like, hey, you know what? It happens.
All right.
But the fact is, we talked about this. The Kalen DeBoer, what in the world is going on? Bama game Happened all throughout the season last year. It happened at the start of the year this year. And we went through 6 games and said, okay, you know what? I think it's past them. They're behind it. And it very much reared its ugly head. Now, thank God they won it. But imagine if Russell Faison catches a flat route. Are we talking about how great of a win that was for Bama and how much they dug deep?
Well, if he catches that, it's a TFL.
Right, but it's not
a pick six.
It's not 7 points for them.
Let's move on. Ole Miss gets a massive win over Oklahoma on the road. Guys, I think if I watched that all 22 in a vacuum, didn't see the score, just got down in distances and movements of the football, I think in a vacuum, I would walk away thinking, damn, Ole Miss must have beat them by multiple scores, several scores, like 14, 15, maybe more type of results based off the film and the flow of the football game and the matriculation of the football, which is why I'm with Lane Kiffin on his comments about Brent Venables' comments. Brent Venables told the media today he felt like he had the better football team. No, sir, you did not. I said on Sunday, and Lane doubled down again today, I mean, every part of that game says Ole Miss should lose it every other year and every other time. Oklahoma has an incredible top 5 defense, maybe top 3 defense in this sport. It's pissing rain all up and down. 11 a.m. noon start. Georgia just beat Ole Miss. They're in a down spiral. They're trying to lick their own wounds. All right, all that kind of stuff on the road. All right, and they hold the football for 34 minutes in that game, have 431 yards of total offense, and like Lane said, they were on the field for 84 snaps, and y'all got 1 sack and didn't force a turnover. Buddy, they handled you. Now, the score didn't say that because they gave up late explosives in the run game. But no, you can't. Like, I don't care if it's about we're trying to get our team up and I'm trying to talk my team up or whatever. No, you have to say they were better than me that day. We're moving on to this week. That's the coach speak, not we were the better football team. No, sir, you can't say that.
Yeah, I didn't love that. And I also, I'm just out on Oklahoma for the rest of the year. And Sooner fans, if you hear that, that's not me just dogging on your program, but that's just kind of me realize. Like, I think we just kind of realized where Oklahoma is at right now. I had my own concerns as much as I love John Mateer heading into this season or last year at Washington State. I had my own concerns about him playing in the SEC with not exactly accurate quarterback play in a conference that was not the SEC. And so then he's coming into this conference, and I know he's not 100% healthy. You can do all of those things, but those things were showing up before he had the thumb injury. The signs were there that this could potentially happen. So I think that with the offense in its current state of they're kind of struggling to find some type of identity and find something like, what is your go-to right now on offense, Oklahoma? Because your go-to is, well, let's see what number 10 can do, because number 10 is going to run hard every single time. He's going to try and make a play every single time with his arm. Like, that's kind of your go-to right now. That's not something that you can just really rely on every single week in this conference. I think it's bite them in the butt quite a few times as well. So I'm just kind of out on Oklahoma. Ole Miss, that was a massive win for them for the rest of the year.
Arm side misses, baby.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Arm side misses from the ear Mateer.
Ole Miss won this game, in my opinion, and what they were able to do in the first half with field position. That punt that led to the safety, and then immediately Oklahoma turns it over on downs around the 50 that turned into a touchdown. All of a sudden, it's 22-10 and going into halftime. Like, that's where the difference in the game was, because, yeah, Oklahoma did have explosives in the back end that kind of reinvigorated and reignited this matchup, but we kind of all expected at some point Oklahoma was going to have explosives against this Ole Miss defense. So they lost in the margins in that middle 8, as we all like to talk about, and that's what ultimately cost them. I agree with you, Jay Will. I think the fact that, by the way, John Mateer looked horrible on that last drive. And he might not be healthy, he might not be himself, but that final drive was bad. He was missing reads, he was sailing balls. I'm kind of out on Oklahoma as well, just because I don't know if they have the horses, and John Mateer might not be this otherworldly Heisman caliber candidate that we kind of believed he was the first 5 games of the season.
Look, I think they're also a next year window football program.
For sure.
Like, the Vasusi kid's going to be pretty good. He's struggling right now because he's young. I think Eddie Pierre-Louis, the interior offensive lineman, I think he's going to be really good. Loved him out of high school, but he's really, really young. So there's a lot going on out there that they have to overcome. And I think it's a next year window. They also, there's no doubt about it. We talked about it going to the season. They got to get more weapons for this guy. They got to protect him more, and it's got to be more than, like, God forbid, if they didn't flip the Canick kid over to tight end, what would they be right now?
Yeah, I don't know.
They would be Deion Burks and John Mateer run game, hopefully 24 roll somebody. They can't win. They can't win in this conference no matter how good the defense is, especially when the quarterback's bound to get hurt if we're moving him this much and running him this much. Y'all want to talk about Auburn getting a dub? I'm done with this one. New rule, no more Hugh Freeze takes from me. I'm just good.
Good job.
We're good. I think I've cooked it enough.
The only reason why I threw this one in the show notes is because not only did they win, they also changed quarterbacks. So, again, I think that kind of plays into the role of –
Might be changing coaches, too.
Yeah, I think that just kind of plays into like last-ditch efforts everywhere there.
That pick six was Hugh Freeze football in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And he set his quarterback over it. It's like, buddy, never mind. I've given the take 100 times. We're good. Mr. 2014, I was good. I've won before.
Yeah. I've won everywhere.
I've won everywhere. I've won 10 games at Ole Miss that one time and then got sanctioned. But, don't talk about it. I'm a changed man.
Oof.
Week 10 previews?
Let's do it.
Week 10, double digits.
We got a great slate. Hey, make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Got a lot of people in the chat right now. Not a lot of thumbs ups. Ding. I need you to hit it for me, okay?
What?
Week 10 previews. Let's start in Big Noon Kickoff. Would have been Big Noon Kickoff? Would have been big?
Yeah, would have been.
Would have been. Could have been.
The lore
Fun
of this
fact,
game has collapsed
Penn
tremendously.
State's on the road at Ohio State. Penn State is a 20.5-point underdog. Hey, boys, any guesses on what this line opened at preseason?
Preseason was probably like 2.5.
In favor of Ohio State?
I'd say Penn State, honestly.
Do you think Penn State was a 2.5-point favorite? So this line has swung 23 full points since the season, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
I would say
What would you
Ohio
say?
State minus 1.5.
Ohio State minus 4.5 was the opening line of this football game. So basically the home hook plus a 1.5. It has swung, 16.5 points because of season's results.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could have put that out there preseason.
No.
Insane. But, I don't have much on this football game. Otherwise, the storylines, I think the biggest storyline in this ball game is obviously Jim Knowles still coaching defense for Penn State against Ohio State this year. What is that matchup going to look like? And how much does Ryan Day try to embarrass him?
The storyline.
There's also there was a known battle between those two all year last year, it sounded like.
The thing that I hate most about this game being a flop now is that I just don't know enough about Ohio State, and I want to know enough about Ohio State. I wish that I could be at this point in the season, and I could look at Ohio State and them as the number one team in the country, and them with an undefeated record and say, they are for sure the best team in the country. I say that as I feel that way because that's just how they've looked against the likes of Wisconsin, Minnesota, Washington, Ohio, Grambling. Now, they did get a win against Texas. They got a win against Illinois, but we saw what Illinois was this past weekend against Washington. So we don't even Illinois isn't even considered one of these best Big Ten teams.
It's so funny because we went through this at Georgia. We went through this at Alabama. We've gone through this during these eras of domination where you can almost see the smile, the shit-eating grin on the head football coach's face after a fight that they didn't expect because they find something out about their football team. Like how many times after a random Georgia Southern gave Alabama a sweat did we get the best press conference in the history of Nick Saban?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I bet there is a sense of Ryan Day where he's like, man, I really wish these guys would give us a fight this weekend because I do want to know what my football team's like in the fourth quarter. I'd like to see them play 60 minutes today.
Penn State could do the funniest thing ever and win this game.
It's not going to happen.
I don't think it happens, but
the only potential sweat they got on is can Michigan rivalry them?
Yeah.
I mean,
Purdue, UCLA, Rutgers after this.
I know.
The likelihood of Penn State winning this game is extremely slim, but it's not zero.
Yeah.
But man,
zero.
it would put so much chaos into the rankings and how we view teams.
Ethan Grunkmeyer was 15 of 28 for 93 yards against Iowa.
Hey, you don't have
There were 161 combined passing yards in that Iowa-Penn State football game last week.
You don't have to
2 weeks
convince me that Penn State's a bad team and they're probably going to lose this game.
Grunky did not get funky.
No, he did not.
Again, you do not have to convince me how bad Penn State is. I'm just saying the odds are never zero in college football.
They're zero.
Yeah. Really, again, circling back, I just wish I knew more about Ohio State.
If that game
really
is
do.
within 10 points, I'll wear the football helmet for an entire Big Ten segment.
Okay.
a helmet bet. I'm 3-0 this season on helmet bets with a 4th-0 pending. My buddy from Iowa, Gronkowski or whatever his name Gronkowski, he almost gave me a sweat this weekend because I looked up and they're up 35-0. I'm like, is he going to throw for 300 yards? Nope, 186.
Nice.
Yep. Big Ten football. Vandy football. We good on that one?
Yep.
Hey, big time, 11 a.m. local kick.
Gross.
Vanderbilt on the road in Austin to take on the Texas Longhorns. We don't know who is going to start at quarterback for the Texas Longhorns because Arch Manning is currently in concussion protocol, has missed the first day of practice here on a Monday as this is being live recorded as we speak. It should be noted, we did see Lenore Sellers earlier in the year play under the concussion protocol within 7 days, gets knocked out against Missouri, and then turns around and plays against the next week against Vanderbilt, or gets knocked out against Vanderbilt, plays against Missouri. Could be something similar for Arch Manning. Matthew Caldwell, the current projected starter, a veteran that they brought in this offseason, has been the backup all year. Sark says he's been dialed. He's been absolutely locked in on the sideline all year. Nobody more locked in than Matthew Caldwell, and has come in and thrown 2 absolute darts in backup time in a 2-minute drill against Florida.
Yep.
In a 2-minute drill against Florida, rips a sail, an absolute dot, and then comes in overtime and throws the back shoulder fade off an RPO that he called. So absolutely dialed in his limited performances. But for me, I hope Arch gets back to 100% soon, whether it be this weekend. We talked about it with Lenoris. I never want guys with head injuries to ever rush back to get into playing time.
Never.
But I hope he gets back at 100% at some point. But more importantly, I hope they get something around him put together and figured out moving forward, because there's going to be a lot of people that were already in my mentions that haven't watched film and haven't watched our film study that will look at that second half comeback and be like, wow, Texas must have got something figured out. Ooh, they must have got everything around him cleaned up. No, the hell they did not. In fact, I would argue that things got worse around him in the midst of that comeback that he manufactured. Everything around him was crumbling, and everything around him was just collapsing, and he's just finding ways to win, all with toughness and grit and dots and accuracy and big-time throws. And that's what we're going to focus on tomorrow when we go on Paul Feinbaum. We're going to focus on everything that Arch did to confirm all of the people that bought stock on this guy. I think everyone forgets that, it was about the Manning name. It was about the Manning name. Not for me. Not what I watched. When I didn't hype this kid up in high school. I hyped this kid up off of the tape that we saw in 2024 in limited time, because it was all big-time throws from a guy that was 6'3", 220 pounds, and was a 4'6" athlete. That's what I bought stock in, and that's what I saw Saturday night, on top of, holy hell, look at the competitive integrity on this guy. He might be willing to die on this field. Little did I know he was going to get knocked the F out in the middle of it.
Texas is in a catch-22 situation if Arch Manning doesn't start this game, though.
Don't do it. There is no Matthew Caldwell plays his way into a starting position. This is Arch Manning's football team. I
agree, but you're in a bad situation if he does play very, very well. You're going to get outside.
From the fans' perspective, I don't think they care about that.
No, I'm not saying that the pressure is going to be within. The pressure will be from the outside. And if the adverse of that is Matthew Caldwell doesn't play well and Texas loses, Vanderbilt just ended your playoff hopes. So there's an interesting situation that Texas is in heading into this football game.
Kirby, I'm telling you right now, there will be no talks on this network. I don't care if he throws for 500 yards. There will be no talks on this network about Matthew Caldwell being the starting quarterback.
That's fine.
At Texas. I will not allow it. Not after what I saw in the second half of that football game.
Completely fine. I think we can all agree that we're not like other networks.
Correct.
So I'm just saying that's
something.
something.
I didn't even want it floated. I wanted to nix it before it was even floated. Take the helium right out of that crackpot balloon.
The Arch Manning injury comes at a really, really bad time for Texas because of what you just said, Kirby, of the fact that you do play Vanderbilt. You do get them at home, but you play Vanderbilt, a team that is having a lot of success in this conference right now, and they're fighting for a playoff spot of their own at the moment, believe it or not. And you've already got your 2 losses on the year. You can't afford another one.
The thing for me in this discussion is I am not viewing them as like, now, I know they're in the picture. They only have 1 conference loss. I'm very well aware of the fact that their destiny's still out there for them. But this is a very flawed football team, even despite the fact that they've found ways to win at Kentucky and Mississippi State. This is a very flawed football team. So even when he comes back, they still are not a playoff contender to me, despite the fact of what their record says. So this is not about, hey, can we win this year for me? It's about continuing to show promise and growth for this young prospect at quarterback.
Right.
That's the primary focus for me.
Again,
I don't know what the fan narrative is.
That's the problem.
I don't really care.
The fan narrative is Vanderbilt just eliminated our playoff chances when we were the number 1 team in the country. We're 3 losses in. There's still 3 games left in the season.
I feel like they were ready to cook at everybody and already get off the bandwagon after the Florida loss. It looked so bad.
For sure. But I think it's like more so of you assume right now that their season is over, and there's a different feeling when their season is actually over. Of like, oh, there's 3 losses next to Texas's logo right now. Oh, there's 3 losses next to the Texas logo right now, and they have Georgia and Texas A&M remaining on the schedule right now. There's potential for Texas to go 7-5 this year. That's the potential if you lose this game this weekend. Like that's very different, as in the sense of, hey, they could finish the year 10-2 still, and while maybe that 10-2 isn't good enough for them to ultimately land a playoff spot, that looks a whole lot different for that program going into the offseason as opposed to we still missed the playoffs, but we were 7-5.
Yeah, I mean that's the narrative you have to be careful for, and I understand that it's obvious you're punting on until next year with Arch Manning, where he has another year of development under his belt, where he's shown you flashes that he can be an elite quarterback. The problem is still you have 5 games to go through this season.
The other problem about this specific matchup for Texas is they went into Lexington, Kentucky, and got maybe like 12 possessions total in that football game. Guys, I counted it up today. Did you know that there were 35 total possessions in this Mississippi State-Texas football game?
God.
35 total possessions. There might be 16 in this Texas-Vandy game. You know what I mean? So you're not going to have a lot of cracks at it this weekend.
Right.
So that's what I'm saying about this specific matchup. Hey, I will say this, Clark Lee, do not kick to Ryan Niblett. Kick the SOB out of bounds. Give it a souvenir to somebody out there in Austin. And it's pretty far from the sidelines. Kick that thing out of bounds. Do not let this guy flip field on you at all. I think the recipes for winning in this one for Texas are screen game, special teams, defense. Okay, stop getting into all this. It's 3rd and 2. Let's take a shot. No, sir. You're going to end up in 4th and 10 and get sacked. Stop doing that nonsense. Lean on the screen game. Lean on the explosives that can come off of the screen game with fake screens and stuff like that. Lean on yards after catch with Ryan Wingo and DeAndre Moore. Lean on special teams. Lean on defense. For Vandy, play your style offensively. Defense, steal a few possessions.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is weird to me that it's not weird. We're at a is Vandy a contender scenario, but every time I talk about their recipe for winning and when they win games, it's death squeezing, shrinking possessions, winning in minorities and criticals, like winning the way lesser thans win.
Yeah.
I mean, they in a way are similar to what Notre Dame was last year. Now, Notre Dame has more firepower.
I would argue they're like an SEC Air Force. They're not even Notre Dame to me. Notre Dame was winning with pro-style concepts.
I don't know if I diminish it that much, but I do get what you're saying.
It's option-y. It is what it is, man. And Air Force goes empty too.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying wing T option. I'm talking about Air Force option.
I think it's the equivalent of what Georgia Tech was last year.
Yeah. Well, I still think Georgia Tech has a little bit more weaponry and a more deeper bag in the passing department.
But that's
Haynes King threw for 300 yards.
But that's like solely
Diego,
looking at.
I don't think he's done that yet, has he? Has Diego Pavia thrown for 300 yards in his career in a single game?
I have no
I
idea.
can check this year.
Solely looking at like what is our method to a win today. That's what you talk about. Not this year, Georgia Tech, because I don't know if you guys have looked at it, but Georgia Tech is not dominating time of possession in games right now.
They play so fast.
They are being explosive on offense. So it's got to talk a little differently about Georgia Tech than you did last year. But last year's Tech team, it was limit possessions and dwindle down the clock.
Yay or nay?
He threw for 321 against Utah State.
Okay.
And he's thrown for 245 against Georgia State. 270. I mean, he has not thrown for more than 200 yards against a Power 4 opponent.
Haynes King's out here throwing for 73% completion percentage at 212 a game and just went for 300. So, in a game in which I think he was out by the third quarter.
Oh yeah, they beat the
They
crap.
played
Yeah.
Philo.
Syracuse
in the fourth quarter of that football game.
Syracuse was not a
it's-
formidable opponent.
It's a different breed out there at Georgia Tech right about now. Hey, last one we are previewing before we go to the local hour. We got a couple more that we're going to talk about this week. USC at Nebraska, Cincy at Utah. Maybe we'll get to one of these. We might have some extra time, but we got to talk about this one. Oklahoma at Tennessee, night game inside of Neyland Stadium. Number 18 ranked Sooners taking on the number 14 ranked Vols. Boys, I don't know if y'all saw that Kentucky football game, but Joey Aguilar was unconscious.
Yep.
Joey Aguilar was unconscious in the deep passing game as well. There were 3 or 4 50-yard in stride absolute dots. This kid is playing extremely confident football. I think he was really, really banged up against Alabama. I mean, we're talking about neck problems. He was spraying it a couple of times against those guys. Deadly accurate in this ball game. That offense with Brazel, Matthews, and Staley really seeming to peak right about now. I think this football game features 2 top 5 units, a top 5 offense and a top 5 defense. A top 5 offense, obviously, from Tennessee, and a top 5 defense from Oklahoma. And that's the matchup I'm watching most closely, because I do think Tennessee's defense has a really big advantage against this Oklahoma offense. I think Tennessee's defense could create some real havoc this weekend against Oklahoma.
Yeah, and I mean,
A bad offensive line, bad recipe against this defensive line unit.
and on top of that, as good as Oklahoma's defense has been this year, Tennessee has put up points against everybody. They've scored
Everybody.
against everybody. So that then turns the conversation into Oklahoma, what are you going to do on offense? And when I'm hearing that paired with Oklahoma going on the road at night to Neyland Stadium, I don't like that.
They're wearing the black jerseys, aren't they?
I have no
Oh,
idea.
yeah.
We got Jersey
no.
mojo going
We got
on.
jersey
no.
manipulation, Jonathan.
Oh no, black
My
jerseys.
early inclination is that this one might not be close.
Yeah,
Ooh,
Swear.
Ooh.
That is my early inclination.
a little vol roll.
I can see it.
I said last week that the game between Ole Miss and Oklahoma was going to be kind of the spiral game, where whoever loses that has the really bad potential to spiral. I think this is where you see that spiral begin for Oklahoma. They're coming off 2 straight losses now heading into this game. Momentum is very, very low. John Mateer did not look great. You're going up against a Tennessee defense that wreaks a lot of havoc in their stadium at night. I agree with Jay on this. I think that you're kind of looking at a recipe for things to get kind of ugly, not only in this game, but Brent Venables might be getting some side eyes in this
Guys,
game.
I don't know if it's going to get ugly because of what Oklahoma has in the box. I think their line of scrimmage play defensively is really, really good, and it could create moments of stagnation for this Tennessee offense. I think there's no doubt. Like even last week's play chart against Kentucky, you could see him sputtering because the defensive line from Kentucky's putting him in negatives. I could see the same thing happening in this football game. What I'm really curious, and what I'm gonna go ahead and tell you right now, we're gonna preview this football game, and all I'm gonna go watch for you Tennessee football fans is this offensive line. I'm very curious to see what David Sanders has been doing since he's gotten in the mix. I'm very curious to see if Lance Hurd's still playing great ball. I'm curious to see, most importantly, what the interiors of this offensive line is doing, because David Stone has been a problem all year for everybody. David Stone wrecks stuff, and he can wreck possessions. Number 32, who I'm forgetting the name of, that edge rusher out there that they got. He's a big physical guy that can push pockets really quickly. R. Mason Thomas is his name. Football brain spitting that one up into the noggin real quickly. So I'm very curious to see that matchup. And I do think they can create stops, but how many of them? How many of them? And this, I can't express to you. I think Chris Brazel should be in the conversation, if not will be, the number 1 wide receiver taken off the board at the X position this year in the draft.
Yeah, I mean, it's right now. I'd say it's between him and Bell from Louisville. Those two seem like the top X
or Jordan
receivers.
Tyson from Arizona State.
Those 3 names are the
Or
ones.
Carnell Tate's more of a Z to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's your thoughts on how good Brazel's been playing this year at Tennessee?
I think this might be the year. And again, you're going to have the casual takes of the offense doesn't work. Look at the previous examples of it. I think Chris Brazel bucks this trend by what he's able to do from a route running scheme, from a 50-50 ball scheme, and I think he's going to have incredible numbers at the combine. So
yeah, he's Dante Thornton with massive production.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? The reason the NFL, I think Dante was a top 3 round pick this year, and the reason being he was 6'5" and ran 4.38.
Mm-hmm.
Brazel's going to go be 6'5", 200 pounds, run 4.38, and have a rack. He's going to go for a rack this year.
Yeah, no, I mean, there is
Hell, he did it off 3 catches this past week,
Yeah,
didn't
he
he?
did.
Did he go 3 for 189 or something
3
crazy
for
like
178, I think.
Come on, dog.
Now
Hey, not to do it. Them's Randy Moss numbers. That's what Randy would do. Randy would have 5 catches, and the game would be over because Randy had 5 catches. Like, come on. That's the type of stuff I draft. That's the type of stuff we got to go get. He changes games.
Yeah, no, he's definitely a game changer in that regard.
Yeah. Any other thoughts on this football game? Again, I think it's Tennessee's defense over Oklahoma's offense and 2 top 5 units going at it on the other side of the ball.
Yeah, I mean,
Must-watch television again for what, the second straight week for Oklahoma?
Yeah.
With regards to their matchup on the other side of the ball.
I mean, it's 3 weeks in a row, sort of.
The avenue for, like, if you get one of those games where Joey Aguilar has multiple turnovers, like if you get him in a 2-turnover game, if you get him in one of those situations, then Oklahoma, like, obviously I like your chances at that point if you win the turnover battle, though, because if John Mateer matches out with 2 turnovers of his own, then it's a wash. It doesn't really matter. So if they protect the football and they can create some turnovers for themselves on defense, then yeah, I think this one's close, but I just don't like combining a team that is struggling offensively against a team that is not struggling whatsoever on offense.
Before we go to the local hour, let's hit a super chub right quick. Mr. Georgia 224 says, question for Brooks and the boys. If I were to ask you a month ago, who would be the top 5 coaches you would have the hardest time suiting up and going to war for, who would they be? Numero uno for me is obvious and easy. It would be Sir Hugh Freeze.
Hugh Freeze is definitely one of them.
But other coaches that all my homies despise, I don't know. I don't have a list of those guys.
I think I'd have a hard time playing for Dabo Sweeney.
Yeah,
he's up there.
It's very, like, I get why,
especially year 3. Year 3, that would get real old.
Yeah, it's like, it's kind of corny.
I'm gonna have to mull over on this one. I'm gonna have to think about it.
I don't have a lot of these.
I think
I
Brian
don't have
Kelly
a lot of
probably.
guys that I'm like, dude, you're wet sandpaper, dog. I mean, I don't think that's a good analogy. I don't think that's what the people say. But you're smooth sandpaper for me. You're not gonna get me.
Yeah,
I can't be out here doing that.
Brian Kelly probably goes in, but he's not.
Yeah, but I think I would have the media day thing. But you got to hang around him for a week before you commit to him, because I think he is a little slimy salesman. He might be able to put it on one day for me. He did at SEC Media Days. He got me in 2023.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that.
I came back thinking, hey, that boy spitting some G out there in front of that microphone. But yeah, now I would have seen one day of the operation and be like, what does this guy do? I'm out.
Right.
You got to get my juices flowing.
all right.
You know? I'm good. Y'all good? Let's go to the local hour. Hey. Some Diddy. Hit him with some Diddy. Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You like that? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape. Let's shut up and let's grind. Guys, we got a lot of chest right here to take advantage of. This is a sole commitment to the box based off the fact that he is very obviously showing body signs that he is coming. Yeah, there we go. And they're just cutting it off 74's butt. Now, again, what do you see? I see a heavy commitment to the box yet again right here.
Like, okay, now I got to finish. And finishing on a guy that size is harder than you think.
Is that the headman's first official appearance on this network?
I believe it might be.
Is that the first time we've ever had Kirby Smart exclusively on this place?
Not
He's out here diddying?
First time on the Diddy
Why you do that to the man like that? By the way, boss man, that's him. That's not me. That's him. All right, so if you want to chew some ass, I already said in a vacuum I'd like one of those, but go ahead and give that to him. That was not me. I did not do that. I did not even condone that. Matter of fact, I didn't even know that was going to happen They just told me that.
They.
Both of them. You know what? Both of them.
So now
Throw them
he's-
both under the bus. Not me. That was them. All right?
Gonna
But
lie-
it
gonna
does go to
lie on
say
air?
that even the brightest of minds out here can be a little sussy when talking about this here football. You know what I mean?
It
I
happens.
mean, look, like we all said, you put it on tape. It's out there.
I didn't put that on tape. He put that on
He
tape.
put it on tape.
And granted, I think it speaks a lot for this network, the fact that I think I got tagged 6 or 7 times today.
Yeah.
People watching Kirby Smart's press conference and chuckling to themselves thinking, oh, he just diddied.
Yeah.
And we've made that a verb.
Yeah.
That's power of the network right there, boys.
I don't know if that how happy I am that the Diddy is what is kind of making waves for us on social media right now, but
Not great,
I'm
Fine
glad
by
people
me.
are
but
paying
it's
attention.
something.
Yeah, it's something.
I mean, how many people got that type of juice? You know, we got motion, twin.
Dude, take that out of your vocabulary.
What?
Please.
Since birth. Since birth, Jonathan.
Bro. No shot.
What in
We
the
got
world?
motion to it.
We got motion, twin.
Bro, you have a family and children. You
Multiple.
don't need to talk
Yeah,
like
how
that.
old,
Children, that
how
is,
old
not
do you
families.
turn in a month?
I'm 31. 31 in about, I don't know, 20 days. And you know what I want for my birthday is 100K. That's what I want.
I like that. I like the sound of
That's
that.
I want 100K.
That's a solid present.
Make sure you hit that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, review. We got presser notes today. We got is Mississippi State a trap game? Don't even know if we're getting to that. Too many things on the notes.
Okay.
We're previewing Florida. How the coaching market affects you. FX.
Effects.
Affects would be the
FX?
with an A.
Effects?
With an A in that. one.
Effects. Top 5 favorite moments from Georgia, Florida. The boys going to talk to you tonight. We got show announcements tonight, which is, I think, where we should start. We got breaking news here on the network. Breaking news. Lock in, boys. Lock in. First of all, tomorrow, 4:30, set your alarms, set your clocks, set your reminders, set your TiVo, set your YouTube TVs, all the good stuff. Your boy going on Paul Feinbaum. We got another exclusive. We're going to break it down for about 10 to 12. How about that? Little round of applause. Little round of applause. Going national, continuing to do so. It's becoming a thing now. I think everyone's, catching on that we're going to be on Tuesdays with Paul, breaking down the tape, grinding it, doing all the good stuff with Feinbaum. We'll be there again tomorrow. Also breaking news. Friday Night Mike's returns this week.
Oh.
Yep, Friday Night Mike returned this weekend for a very special edition. I think it's going to be the only in-season edition of Friday Night Mike moving forward, unless for some reason it gets picked up by massive funding or something like that. Wintersville Classic. We're going back down South Georgia on that I-75 route down to the Jacksonville, Florida, and we are going to watch 8-1 Valdosta host 9-0 Lowndes in front of what I expect to be about 20,000 nuts, sicko high school football fans.
Fun to watch.
I'm excited for you to witness.
You're going to
this
pop
for
your cherry.
sure.
You haven't been down there yet.
I'm gonna what?
You're going to have your first experience at Wintersville, okay? And you're going to have what is a vibration for 48 minutes.
Nice.
But
What?
I can't. Never
I mean,
mind.
for real.
No,
Dude, were you not vibrating leaving that stadium?
Oh no, it was electric.
Did you not have more of a visceral reaction to I love ball leaving that ball game than you did even the Florida Georgia game when we came back?
No,
from
I
that
believe
road trip last
I
year?
believe that was my take of. I think I enjoyed going to the high school game almost more than I did going to the Georgia Florida game. So it's an electric environment. It is seriously
excited for
unlike
it.
anything else that you could experience at the high school level in regards to football.
Third iteration happens in threes. All great things and bad things happen in a trilogy. The first greatest thing about this weekend, you know what it is?
What's that?
We got Film Guy Fam Tailgate.
Oh.
Breaking news right here. We got a Film Guy Fam Tailgate starting at the crack of dawn down there in Jacksonville. Parking lot P. We're going to be pushing peas and hamburgers with cheese on Saturday in the parking lot down there in Jacksonville. How about it?
I love the sound of that.
That
Just
sounds
rip the
exciting.
promo off the rip. How about that? Off
Exciting.
top of the dome.
Excited to see the crew and go on a tailgate. I don't know if
I want that photo to have hundreds of Film Guy aficionados. Just people who love ball that grind tape. The film fam showing up. Dreams. dreams. I'm talking about hundreds, nay, thousands. What do you think? You think we can make it happen?
Definitely.
Got to spread the word.
Definitely.
Parking Lot P. We're going to put it out on social media tomorrow. Graphics team working on a graphic right about now.
Oh.
Graphics team
Going
working.
official with it.
Graphics team working way too damn hard. They're great at their job. By they, I mean him, Adam.
Graphics team
Shout
has
out
been
Adam.
doing good.
Graphics been grinding lately. He probably thinks it's a full-time job. It's not, but he's working like it is one. I feel bad for the guy. But he just got a shout-out. Shout-out Adam Walters. I told you, third most important employee we got behind you two. I'm not going to rank you. Don't ask me to right here on live television.
Nah, that's all right.
We know.
Be like Dion ranking my kids.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that'd be
Jonathan's
crazy.
won this week. 1B, though.
Oh, you won this week? Congrats, Jay-Will.
Thank you.
Wow.
Should we preview Florida, or do you want these presser notes?
Oh, we got to go presser
Let's
notes.
see the presser notes.
It's semi-hot off the presser for a reason.
Yes. Semi-hot off the presser.
moderately
We love
warm
that.
at this
Yeah,
point.
Moderately warm.
Like the type of warmth when something's been in your back pocket and you've been sitting on it for a while.
Yeah.
Excited to go down to Jacksonville. Unique split of a crowd. Very different, so says Kirby Smart. Very weird, he even said. It's a momentum home crowd. Meaning, if you're making plays, if you're winning the game, your side of the field is loud, thus the stadium is loud. But if there's no Mo, there's no crowd.
You really got to see that last year because there was actually like a shift of momentum in this game, and you kind of you saw that somewhat in the 2020 game, but this one really because Florida takes the lead going into halftime. They're turning Carson Beck over. Florida looks like they're in a really good position to win the game. And then DJ Lagway gets hurt, and then Georgia comes down in the second half, takes over the game, ends up beating them by multiple scores. Like, you really saw the momentum shift in this stadium. And it is a unique thing to witness when that does happen. But since Kirby Smart's got in Athens, it's kind of been some beatdowns.
I wanted to ask him about what he's seen from DJ Lagway. I would summarize it in bright player, bright future, talented offensive line. He did this guy's talented conversation. I told you guys this pre-show. There's
Hard to
two
finish on.
Yeah, hard to finish on. There's two types of Kirby Smart compliments for quarterbacks. He's really talented, can make all the throws. This guy's playing quarterback. Have y'all ever noticed the two differentiations in the compliments?
Yeah.
DJ got a lot of he's big and talented.
All you'd have to do is go listen to what he said about Ty Simpson. Go listen to what he said about DJ Lagway.
Yeah.
Very different.
I'm like, even go back to 2019, listen to the way we talked about Joe Burrow. You know?
Ooh.
I highly doubt it was, man, this guy is so physically gifted.
He throws a real pretty ball.
Yeah. They run the same concepts we do. We just got to go get dudes. Remember that one? That was that post game after a shellacking.
Yeah.
I don't know if that was true time, but you know. You didn't have all the dudes at that time though. That is
No,
true.
you did not.
I don't know if you ran 5 wide like they were.
I don't know if you could have.
You didn't have the
I think
dudes.
so.
You didn't have the dudes. Still don't really. Maybe. Could you go 5 wide right now?
Yeah.
Would you want to though with your identity?
Would you want to? No,
A
but could you?
healthy room could have gone 5 wide.
Yeah.
I think losing Colby and Talon this year hindered that a little.
Now,
bit.
I've got 3 different comments about 3 different coaches from Florida about 3 different possibilities of play calling. Russ Callaway, obviously Gonzalez, Billy, the interim head football coach, and Ryan O'Hara is the third name I got.
Yeah, and I watched
All 3 could potentially call plays.
And I watched Billy Gonzalez's introductory press conference, and he was kind of asked about that. And he was kind of like, yeah, you know, I'm going to have some input in here, and Russ is going to have some things that we're going to like to do, and you know, Ryan's going to have some say in some stuff, and we're going to kind of create game plans from there. So I don't know if they know who's calling the plays on Saturday. I think that they're kind of just going to have hey, this is the game plan we have. Here's what we're going to try to do.
I think there was a comment from Billy Gonzalez about somebody designing the game plan, someone else calling plays.
Yes.
And I thought that was interesting. That's the same process that they had
I
under
was saying,
Billy.
not much would be
Napier.
changed.
Yeah, not much would be changing there. Was asked about the challenges with new coaches. He said sometimes there's new juice. Right. Sometimes obviously you have to adjust to whatever they're doing, but sometimes there's a new energy with football teams. Was asked about Chris Cole and his growth, and I thought he did such a great job of explaining that Chris is doing a lot right now. Chris is still an off-ball linebacker on early downs. He's still a coverage backer if for some reason the other team hops into 12 personnel and then spreads like Kentucky does sometimes, right? Ask him to go out there and cover like Texas will do when you ultimately play them. Also being asked to obviously be a pass rusher while also being asked to be one of their best players on special teams. And I was telling the guys before the show, it's a really tough thing that Chris is having to go through, and it's going to be great for him long term, especially next year because all these things will blossom. But we're trying to grow and develop in basically 4 categories, and I think we're the best player in all 4 categories except for maybe off-ball linebacker, which CJ is the best one of those, but you're a close 2, and based off what I've seen on tape, you're obviously one of the best pass rushers that they have. You're obviously one of the best coverage guys that they have, and you're obviously one of the best special teams unit guys that they have. But when we're trying to be the best at all of these things right now as a young player, I don't think we're the best versions of ourselves at either of these things. Because we're trying to be great. You know what I'm saying? Like we're trying to get great at it all, but we're not really getting great at any of it. But we're kind of having this, substantive growth at all of these things, but we're not getting elite at one of them. But maybe next year we'll be elite at all of them, and that will be the superhero. That will be the super player. That will be what we're going for. And I think eventually that'll happen. But right now we're still having these moments of growth, right? That's why we're missing wide open sacks.
I think he's kind of, and this isn't a player comp, but I think he's kind of on the Jalen Walker trajectory where you're very close to putting it all together and being kind of what.
Having some of the dumbest takes in the preseason next year? Is that what you're saying?
No, I was going to more say like the trajectory that you are on to where you could be the everything guy for this defense. It's very possible, and I think that they're kind of trying to exercise him into getting comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I was trying to think of maybe some players in the past who maybe really showed out in their first year, and then in the second year maybe didn't live up to some of the expectations that were placed upon him, but then in the third year really blossomed. I think it was a very different situation, and it was different types of didn't exceed the expectations that were set upon him. But I feel like Quay Walker was somewhat a little bit for Georgia.
I would say so,
Again,
yeah.
different circumstances. Like Quay Walker, it was just kind of inconsistent play.
Mm-hmm.
It was flash play, like, oh, what are you doing? Clearly not looking at the right thing. But then by the end of his career, his last year at Georgia, it was, oh, that's the super freak that could do everything, that actually did everything for Georgia. I think you might see something similar with Chris Cole.
Oh, I asked him about Jaden Ball in the recruitment process.
Yeah, I saw that one.
Because I think that was one of those in-state kids that got away.
Mm-hmm.
And he was very brief, but explained kind of what I think happened.
They recruited him as a safety, didn't they?
Well, he was until the last year of his high school career. And then it was like, hey, let's give Jaden an opportunity to carry our entire football team. And that's exactly what he did at Columbia and became a running back. And then Florida took him as a running back. And now he's top 3 in the league?
in the
SEC?
conference at least.
In the conference.
Yeah.
Top 3 back in this conference.
Yeah.
I think everybody agrees. He's a great running back.
Mm-hmm.
Said he camped there as a 9th grader as a safety. As he got bigger, moved down towards the line of scrimmage as a linebacker, continued to camp there. They were scouting him as a linebacker, and then the opportunity and potential of scouting him as a running back happened late in the cycle. I think that's why you, quote-unquote, missed. And I would imagine this feels like a regret thing.
Right.
You feel like your running back room is great, but that kid's great.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah. Was asked about the improvements he wants to see from his defense. Any guesses?
I watched, so I didn't.
Tackling. Yeah.
Tackling
Y'all
is-
watched. Y'all did your job?
Tackling.
Dang. Great job, boys.
Don't act so surprised. But I mean, that's always been I think for as long as we've been watching Kirby press conferences, and I was doing this long before I even was working here, just what's something you want to improve on? Let's pick the most basic baseline skill that is very important, and is that it's very true. Tackling needs to
Blocking
get
and
better.
tackling.
Yeah, start with stopping the run, but that starts with tackling better.
It's a very safe answer from Kirby, and it's not
Got to
the
be better
internal.
on 3rd down, but that starts on 1st and 2nd down.
That's the classic question of can we see if we can get Kirby Smart to admit where there's problems on the defense?
So to summarize, Kirby Smart said the team has to be better on first, second, and third down. They have to stop the run, which means they also have to tackle better. So tackle better and be great on all downs.
And don't forget, play the ball in the air.
Yeah.
And they have to be in
And turn it over. They got crazy turnovers.
turnovers.
You got to be in position to tackle too. You don't make the tackle.
That's
if you're
right.
not
Got to be in the
right.
position to tackle. Got to get there first.
So good.
It's such a box checking coach's answer.
elite.
Just like, hey, coach, how do we get better at defense? Well, here is all the things required to be great at defense. We got to do them all. Oh, man. Was asked about the Nate Bargatze thing on game day.
Yeah.
There's
was
like 4 or 5
weird.
mentions of Jared Curtis. It's not weird.
I thought it was weird.
How's it weird? He's a 5-star quarterback, and they're at Vanderbilt, and he's on campus.
Yeah, I don't care. I still think it's weird. You don't see anybody else do that.
I don't watch game day that closely to even remember. You've never seen Bryce Underwood mentioned last year? Never saw anything like that?
I'm sure there might have been
Desmond
on.
Howard never dropped one?
Not that I can recall.
Ever?
I'm serious. I just
think
thought it was
it's-
weird. I thought it was strange.
I think it's weird that it got the traction that it did.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think
think
that was also the weird
I think it's
part.
weird that people are out here worried about it when his agent on Wednesday put a statement out that this is just because they are friends. He is a Georgia Bulldog.
Well, to be fair, I would say that some of the media did a poor job of continuing to make – not a poor job. I shouldn't use that word. The media did their
job.
Did their job of keeping
Yeah.
this as a hot topic and making it seem like it was
Yeah.
continuing to be a bigger and bigger and bigger story.
Yeah, like Nate Bargatze says that Jared Curtis should come to Vanderbilt.
Did we run it?
No, I did. I saw it when
That seems like a Kirby shot.
it would have been, but I was like, no, not this.
That's Google Play all written all over it.
It
But
would
is
have
Nate
been.
Bargatze a Google puller?
No.
I don't think he is.
No.
I think Nate Bargatze's the type of Google pull, no offense to Nate, where it's like, who's the guy on game day right now? That's the Google when Nate's on there.
Dang.
Am I wrong?
I think he's bigger than that.
He's a good comedian.
He's
I
been
know
on
he's a
S-
great comedian,
he's
but
been-
any comedian is going to eviscerate that response in 2025, in my opinion, still. From the common American fan watching a college football show will look at that and go, hey, who's that guy? And then they'll pop it up, Nate Bargatze, and then the commenter will have to Google Nate Bargatze and misspell his last name. No different than they Google Austin film guy.
I would disagree with you, but also today the number one search in college football was where did Aaron Rodgers play football? So,
But community college, Butte. There's advantages to coaching at your alma mater. You understand the infrastructure, but it's also a burden because your time is their time. He mentioned like as an alumnus play or coaching at your alumni or your alumni, your school where you went to school, that you
Alma
feel
mater.
the weight of that because you were a player there as well. He also was asked later on in the press conference about all the legacies that are on the roster. And I think this is awesome that goes back to that lane conversation we had in the National Hour. Great football coaches recognize this and their brain picks up on these things at a different rate and they see these things differently, right? Where you get asked about legacies and my brain immediately goes to, oh, they're going to stay here longer. They're going to play here longer. They love the university because their parents love the university. But his brain immediately goes to, I think that says a lot about the university that people play here and they want to come back here and they want to send their kids here. That is not the case everywhere you go. That is not the case at every athlete's storyline. In fact, there's a lot of disdain for athletes when they go to college and they don't feel a certain way about their program because their program doesn't love them the way that they love them, or their program doesn't idolize them the way that they think they should be, or there's they didn't play and they feel bad about the university, whatever it may be. There's a lot of things that go wrong during college processes as an athlete. And for these types of players to have played at Georgia and said, not only did I love my time there, but I think my kid's going to love his time there. Let's send them there. That says a lot about your university.
mm-hmm. Absolutely. And you're also getting at a point in time where you're getting more and more legacies, or it feels like you're getting more and more legacies because it's like names that you know as a guy, as like a kid growing up watching college was like, oh, that guy has a son right now that's about to go play college football.
And I do think it'll be interesting to see, like, 15 years down the line when these guys that played here in this era are going to start doing legacies. Because are you going to get that still? Like Mike Bobo's and Jarvis Jones's and all the guys that did play for Georgia pre-NIL era, I think that there is an obvious case of there's a lot of guys on every college football roster that are where they are right now because it was the most advantageous for them fiscally and other things like that. Whereas 12 years ago it was you wanted to play at Georgia, you went to Georgia because you loved Georgia, and you were a Georgia Bulldog for that regard. So I am interested to see if this decreases over time.
Chat says shots fired at Veron Haynes. I was relatively close, I would argue, to the Veron Haynes recruitment. That seemed to me everything that the dad, first of all, was not going to be, you're going here because I say you are. That was first and foremost. But the other thing was that Veron very much so wanted his son to play at Georgia. I don't think his son wanted to follow in his dad's footsteps, which happens all the time. I think it happened to an extent with C.J. Wiley at LSU. I don't think he wanted to go where both of his parents went.
And
that's why it was Florida State, Georgia.
And I don't think that a legacy player's child not coming to a school has anything to do with...
It's an indictment.
Oh, yeah. They don't like Georgia
It's not
anymore.
always an indictment.
No, I don't think it is.
Kyron's got a shoulder, or Kyron's got a foot. Kyron's got
Hope
a
to
leg.
get him back soon.
Kyron's got a body. Hopeful to get him back. So there's that. Jacksonville Stadium said he has lots of memories, some good battles, played there 3 or 4 times, but don't really remember any key moments.
I'll say it's interesting because
for him, it's a nothing series is what it sounded like.
Well, I'm pretty sure he was a part of the 94-95 split.
Yeah, maybe that's why he didn't want to talk about it.
Where
because they got drummed.
Yeah, I mean
at home in Athens.
I think to this
Chris
day,
Doering went for 200, I think, in that game.
I mean, that's the infamous Steve Spurrier calls a reverse to put 50 points up on Georgia in Athens. I think to this day they're the only team that's done that.
Oh, I think this was worthy of note. Was asked about his relationship with analytics, I think because he kicked a field goal and didn't go for it against Ole Miss.
Oh, yeah,
late.
yes.
I think that's what it was. He said 10 years ago he didn't have much of a relationship at all with analytics because he didn't think it was around in the game, or if it was, he wasn't using it. Said about 3 or 4 years ago he really increased the amount of information that he was getting with regards to analytics, and now he said there's not a single solitary moment in the game where he doesn't know the data and he doesn't know what the analytics say about the decision-making process. However, I think the words today were, I'm not a slave to it. I still read my gut and read the situation and the feel of the game in the moment. And I told you guys before the show, and it's not just because I'm a Kirby homer and I love everything about this dude's process, and I've taken a lot from him and applied it to my life, and I think you should as well. But in terms of his obsession and constant need for improvement on his habits and what he does. What I thought was most impressive about this was the fact that I think he does it the same way I would do it, where, yeah, I want all the data, but I'm not going to be married to it. I'm going to read the situation of the game. I would go 98% off the analytics, and those 2% would be the criticals. In the criticals, I'm going to die on my sword. That's how I would go about it. I think that's how it should be done. You should not ever be married to anything, but you should take account into everything. And that's what I think he does. I think that's the way it should be with regards to analytics. My least favorite thing in 2025 is when a head football coach who makes north of $10 million comes to a microphone after a critical decision that went the wrong way and goes, well, that's what the book says. Man, I don't pay the book $12 million. That's some horse crap.
I do believe that is what Kirby Smart said after last year's Georgia Tech game, though, where I believe it was when they were down by 17, they scored a touchdown, and he elected to go for 2, and they did not get it, and it kind of put him in a funky situation. They were late in the game, and I believe he said, when asked about it, was, well, the analytics said to go for 2 in that situation, so he went for 2. The only reason why I remember that is because I hated the decision. I did not like it, and I did not like the answer of.
I still hate the answer. I'm going to tell you right now, I'm a Kirby guy. I hate the answer.
Yeah.
The answer's nuh-uh.
So I wonder if,
again, don't pay the analytical staff $12 million.
So I wonder if that was maybe a shift in the decision-making for himself of maybe I need to lessen up on the analytics and start going with my own intuition.
Yeah, man, I was shivering in the 300 section going for 2 right now? Why? Why? And then 4 hours later, Georgia won.
Yeah. And on Sunday morning, Georgia was victorious.
And then me and
it
my
was
friends,
28 degrees that night, and I think I lost 8 pounds.
Yeah, I bet, dude.
Yeah. And then me and my friends paraded to Mags immediately after. Wonderful night.
What a heartfelt story.
What did the magazine store have for you?
Mags is a bar in Athens.
Is that short for Magnolias?
It is.
Yeah.
Nice.
Southern. I think I'm good on the presser notes.
Anything from the players? I did see that Drew Bobo said he dressed up as Aaron Murray for Halloween.
Yeah.
A few times.
I had an interview with Texags at 1:15 that I had to get back.
Hey,
I love CJ Allen, love Drew Bobo. My guys, both of them.
Yeah.
But it's getting outrageous. Stop complaining, you idiot. You asked for all of this. It's on the board. The good I'll do. I'll keep spreading the good word of football. I'm going to tell you that right now. Ain't no complaints for me. Ain't no complaints. Racks in the bank. What do you got for me?
On what?
Just randomly throwing the show to us.
You want to preview Florida?
Yeah, let's.
I want to preview Florida.
Seems topical.
Whew. I just ran through 20 minutes of me. So let's do 10 more minutes of me. I can't believe I used to do this all by myself. I think about that all the time.
To be fair, it was
an
an hour and 10.
Oh, it was lazy work. It was such bullshit.
I wouldn't call it lazy.
It was such an alcoholic's way of going about work is what it was.
Oh.
To be honest with you. I'm just going to work when I feel like it. And whenever I think I got something good.
You're talking about the sporadicness of it.
Oh, yeah. Previous to this studio, I think everything that I did was junk. And I still think there's some stuff that I do that is bad. But I think I was getting by with that guy's talented and knows ball. And now, since August of 2023, well, really February of 2023, there has been this incessant, consistent growth about this place. Now, the numbers say it's happened in the last year, but we know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
We know it hasn't been a year's growth. It's been 3 years of growth and effort. Here's what I know. There's a lot of unknown about this football team from Florida, right? With a brand new football coach and an interim and all this stuff going on, specifically offensively. Let's talk about it. I know they're a pistol football team that uses the use of tight end and pre-snap motion, but they've become a base 11 personnel football team since Dallas Wilson has become in the mix. They were a heavy 2 tight ends, mix it up, flip formations, get into the pistol, use jet motion, use play action to hunt explosives. That's what they were. To be honest with you, they looked like I hate to say this, a value brand of what Steve Sarkisian does offensively. That's what they were trying to be, is what it looked like to me prior to Dallas Wilson's emergence. Since then, they have become a very different football team formationally and personnel package-wise. So there is that. That's who they are. A lot less wide zone, though. They don't run any of that. They're more of a downhill running attack out of the pistol that's trying to create jets and meshes and deep overs and posts, okay? That's what they're working off of. Deep game passing is predicated off of play action and pistol. We know this about Texas's system. We'll see this about Florida's system as well. The offensive line for me, ever since I've ever studied Florida, has always been on paper and in flashes one of the best and most talented units across the board for me in this conference. That being said, ever since I've studied them, head coach be damned, there are spurts, just like there are flashes of greatness, there are flashes of what in the hell is going on. Blown assignments, blow-throughs, run-throughs, all kinds of crazy stuff that makes no sense. Holds, lazy holds, blocking the backs, dumb stuff. Just random spurts of it. But random spurts of, damn, they look great. You're going to walk up on them. They're going to look beautiful out there on the offensive line. So there's that. Running back, we've talked about Jaden Ball a ton. That guy is elite. He is an elite football player, and he is a real problem for every defense on every single snap, and he doesn't need a ton of help. If the first free defender shows up at -2, it will be a plus 3-yard carry. All right, that is the way this guy goes about his business. That's how elite this guy is with the ball in his hands. The wide receivers are a real deal. Okay, whether it's Dallas Wilson, Eugene Wilson, or Vernell Brown, they are really, 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 really good, and they can beat you at any moment. All right, so they're explosive weapons. Eugene after the catch, Vernell and Dallas from a vertical standpoint. I think Dallas is a bitch to tackle too. So there's that. That's a real problem. The quarterback is, to me, the same exact eval he was 12 months ago when we watched this. Mm-hmm. The difference is last year I felt like this guy was hitting explosives like they were layups. This guy was hitting deep posts like you could walk down there and hand them to guys. Right now they're 72nd in the country in explosive passing. It's not the same football team. It's not the same quarterback. It's not the same execution rate with regards to explosives. All that being said, what happens if it happens to you? You know what I mean? What happens if it shows up? Because the talent is there. He's not hitting these right now, and he's not hitting the layups either, and he's still very trickable. That's why they're not what they're supposed to be offensively, in my opinion, is because of the lack of consistency at the quarterback position. But that's not to say it might not pop up against you. You know what I mean? So there's that. Now, what do you expect from them or offensively, like with regards to the coordinator change, the head coaching change, all that different stuff? Well, I don't expect a whole new core identity, right? But what I do expect is two things. They will rapid the pace. They will pick that up. They will hunt explosives. They will be aggressive and try to get a couple of easy ones on you early in this football game, as you would expect any underdog to do, but really as you would expect a brand new coaching staff to do out here. Get these guys confidence, get them a one-on-one early, hunt the explosive. Even if we get into a negative, it's worth the opportunity to get on top of this football team early on and often in this football game. The other thing that you have to expect is some type of trick play. Some type of let's dump the clip. We've had this one. We've been practicing this double pass reverse all season.
Did they get one
let's
last
get
year?
it in.
I don't remember one.
I remember Billy throwing the bag every year.
I know in 2023
whether or not they hit, I don't know.
I know in 2023 they try to go with a halfback pass with Trevor Etienne. I don't remember necessarily if they tried.
Ooh, that was some ass. Ooh, on the 4th and 1.
Yeah.
Smile Mondon. Ooh, that was some poop.
That was gross.
That was a bad play call.
That was the turning point of that game.
And I thought what was crazy is they were running the ball effectively at that point in the game, if my memory serves me.
They were keeping up. I think
was booty cheeks.
I think the TID strip sack really opened that game up in 2023, but I can't remember. I think.
Oh yeah.
I think Lagway getting hurt last year really hindered their play calling abilities.
Hamstring. They look like a blown knee.
Oh yeah, everybody's like, "Oh, his season's done."
His season's
that's
done.
an Asil Turi. Shout out to that movie. Y'all don't remember that one, do you?
No,
I'd have to see it
I
again.
don't even remember what that name of that movie is.
Is that the one where he
It's the spoof movie where they're making fun of the replacements, basically.
Oh yeah, and he gets hit by the bus. I remember what you're talking about.
ACL tear. It's Asil Turi, coach. ACL tear. You know that one.
I do remember that. I
guess the hard thing about this game, like previewing it, is that there are so many unknowns with Florida. And
I didn't even get into the defense.
You could say that even if Billy Napier was still the head coach, you still would be saying there's so much unknown about this team of like, you don't know what offense you're going to get. Are you going to get the offense that Texas saw, or are you going to get the offense that some of these other SEC teams have seen? Like, which version of Florida are you going to get? Defensively, I feel like you know what you're going to get. Those guys have played hard every single weekend.
It's honestly what I'm most excited about studying this week when we prepare the audience for this Florida football team offensively and defensively in our What to Expect film series. They've put together several great performances on the defensive side of the ball. Here's what I have seen off TV copy. First and foremost, they got a bunch of young defensive backs that are making a lot of plays. Now, they might give some up, but they're making big-time plays. The other thing I know for a fact about this defense, Tyreek Sapp going to play his head off. Tyreek Sapp is going to be ready to play this football game. I felt like he dominated in spurts last year in this ball game. Can Florida use the unknown to jump on Georgia? That's the big question in this football game. I'm done trying to predict their level of motivation as a football team, though. You know, whether or not they're up, whether or not they're going to play with high energy, I'm done trying to figure it out. I felt like they went to bat for Billy 12 times over and then randomly lost a bunch of times.
It's impossible to predict the output. And I think that's kind of one of the weird things to preview here is what kind of Florida are you getting? Because if you get out and you get a motivated, inspired Florida, they could give you an issue. If you come out and they play like the game's already lost, they'll roll over and die pretty quickly.
Yeah, and I don't expect a ladder. I think, again, a good indicator of the climate around this team will be when that injury report comes out on Wednesday. Now, the injury report has been littered with names since like week 3, since the USF loss. That's kind of when it started really piling up.
Since red shirts got cooked.
Yeah.
Or since they were on the verge of getting cooked.
You said it. I was saying it in a different way.
Yeah.
But so that'll be an indicator for me. Like if you see a few more names pop up on that thing this week on Wednesday, then it's like, okay, maybe these guys are like, yeah, we're good.
I think the number one take that I'm going to regurgitate on every single podcast and radio segment that I have the rest of the week is going to be about the fact that this is Georgia's bag. Oh, we got to feel you out and then beat you in the final 3 quarters? That's what they've been doing for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
You know? And they've been doing it against good, like really, really, really good football teams. They've been trying to do this against playoff teams. This is their bag. This is where they're in their. This is their sweet spot, if you will. Oh, we're gonna get shocked by 7-0 in the first. Nah, we'll cry. We're comfy. That's where we want to be.
I think more so than ever, the offensive approach for Florida is going to revolve around players because obviously
players, not plays. Kirby.
Yeah, I think Dallas Wilson's going to be a very big, impactful player in this game. He was already going to be that, but I think you place more emphasis on that now that you don't have your head coach there, and they've had 2 weeks to come up with a game plan. Like that's the beauty of the bye week, but I think it is you're going to rely on players more than you do just plays here.
Florida's going to march it down on their first possession and go up 7-0. We're going to get a Colin Cowherd tweet that says Billy Gonzalez needs to be the head coach of Florida. This guy is the future.
Backwards hat gotta go.
Did it with Bill Belichick, by the way.
That was crazy.
First drive.
Beautiful troll
Best
drop.
coach in college football. Oh, my gosh.
65-7.
One of the worst games in the entire season.
Awful to watch. You boys got top 5 moments in this series?
We do.
Oh,
Let's
yeah,
hear
we
'em.
do.
I'm gonna play by the wayside here.
I think Kirby went a bit of a Brooks route. He has like a top 5,
So I
top
didn't-
10.
I didn't do OLI.
You stole my steez?
I kind of did OLIs here. I did underrated moments, not ones that
Fraud.
you put in the top 5 here, but ones that I think that if you're a Georgia fan, this is not one
Imitation
that's
is
talked
flattery.
about a ton, but moments that you go, oh man, I do remember that. That was a lot of fun.
Give me that OLI, my boy.
First one, Todd Gurley's touchdown reception in 2013, coming back off of that ankle sprain against Florida. See,
I don't remember it.
Georgia fans know what I'm talking about. It was it was thrown over the middle. Florida clears out all the way.
Texas route?
It was a Texas route. There's no one in the middle of the field. Todd Gurley takes it for like 64 yards and was absolutely gassed afterwards because it was first game back from an ankle injury.
I have this weird memory of that play where on my iPod Touch, my wallpaper on it for like the next 4 months was this meme that was made off of it where there's a
Don't
Florida
tug
player.
on Superman's cape.
Yeah, there's a Florida player grabbing at Todd Gurley's jersey and it says, "Don't tug on Superman's cape." That was like it is like a grainy meme. It is my wallpaper on my
What
iPod
year
Touch
is
for a
this?
long time.
2013. This is also the classic Gary Danielson. Oh no! Like as soon as the ball touched Todd Gurley's hands,
no.
Gary D went, "Oh no!"
Very similar
I got
to the interception that Anthony Richardson throws, where as soon as he
Yes.
throws it, you just hear Gary Danielson go, "Uh-oh." It goes for 6.
Another moment that I think gets underrated: Jake Fromm's third down pass to Eli Wolf in 2019. That game could have gotten very interesting. The fact that that was the play to ice it was huge, and this was also obviously after some criticisms were thrown Jake Fromm's way about how he had been playing that year. So for Georgia to win that game and for him to have the game he had, he played really well against Florida in 2019.
Also a massive Brian Harrion reception in that game.
Oh,
A
my
rather
God.
crazy
Oh,
one.
what a grab.
insane. One of the most insane catches I've
Was that
ever seen.
2019?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, buddy, did the world of media find out about my ball knowledge in that press box that day. And thanks to the offensive coordinator at the time because they had some tendencies. And the amount of times I sat up in that box and said, "Oh, James Cook's in, jet sweep." And then it happened, and the whole press row was like, "Hey, who's the fat kid down there in the Jordans? What is going on down there? That guy knows ball. Who is this?" Ball knower.
These next two
You'll come to find out.
These next two underrated moments come from the 2017 game. Javon Wims mossing the Florida defender on the first touchdown of the game. See, you don't even remember this one.
I'm not a Georgia fan.
I know.
When we do these things,
I understand.
My top 5 list would have been Jarvis Jones forced fumble,
Oh,
Hey,
well,
don't spoil the
we have the
segment.
top 5.
storming of the field.
These are my underrated
This was
moments.
the same game that I believe at least, or maybe no. This was too early. I want to say.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say that Jeremiah Holloman also had a moss.
That was 2018.
yeah, see a year early.
So, yeah, the other 2017 moment that does not get talked about, it makes its rounds on social media. DeAndre Swift absolutely running over Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and hurting him eventually after he had talked about how Jake Fromm can only throw slants was pure chef's kiss, especially in a season where they had beaten you last year. Like, Florida beat Georgia like 24-10.
Ooh, I
last
just
year.
remembered a play.
Go ahead, what is it?
Lawrence Cager 3-beater.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Little. Gotta love it.
And then my final moment that I think that it's talked about, but it's underrated, and it kind of came after the fact. The Kirby Smart halftime speech that got leaked in 2021 was absolutely
You don't say there on this one.
yes, that
Don't say to them, Jamori.
yes, Beautiful.
That's Dan Mullen on the other side. He sucks.
Chef.
He should be on TV.
He didn't say that, but chef's
I
kiss
ad-libbed
moment.
there.
Joe, I'll let you get into the top 5.
All right, my top 5. Starting at number 5. Well, we tried to do these based on plays that we have actually seen in our life. It is a disservice to not include this one on any top 5 of this series. Lindsey Scott.
Yes.
I mean, the call from Larry Munson, the play in and
Not
of
that.
itself, actually winning the game like that play, one of the most legendary plays in this entire rivalry.
Run, Lindsey.
That
Run.
one. Number 4 for me,
not my
Kirby
best.
Smart saying F those MFers after beating them. I don't even remember what year it was. It was when Dan Mullen was there. And it's like just panning to Kirby, running to the 50-yard line to shake hands with Dan Mullen, and you just see him F. And then
Was it F that MFer or F those MFers?
I believe it was F those.
My Dan Mullen hatred makes me want to say that.
So that was certainly an iconic moment. Number 3, Todd Gurley doing the Gator Chomp after scoring a touchdown. Again, just peak iPod Touch wallpaper content right there. Number 2, this one is 2 plays combined, but I think it really encapsulates this game. In 2012, the one you mentioned already, Malcolm Mitchell's touchdown from Aaron Murray late in that game. I can always replay that play in my mind, like vividly.
Do it.
And then
Right now. Do it.
It's going to be a lot of dead air.
Give me formation. Give me alignment. Give me down and distance. Give me result.
If I remember correctly, they were going 12 personnel with an attached tight. Florida walked up with a blitz, and Aaron Murray checked to a hitch route that Malcolm Mitchell caught and then immediately broke a tackle and then cut into the backfield and made a safety miss.
it was 3rd down, I believe. Crucial play in the game. And
My guy's no ball.
vividly can see Malcolm Mitchell breaking those tackles and running into the end zone.
Oh, man, good stuff.
Very well done. Very
Number
well done.
1 on my list, the entire Georgia team celebrating the touchdown in 2007
the Gators
against
song.
Urban Meyer. I mean, just, again, like epitome of this rivalry.
Also was on my list, so I'll leave that one off.
Y'all still don't know what I'm doing?
I think I know what you're referencing.
Yeah, I know what you're
and I'm
doing.
How did that not make the list?
The Carson Beck is what you're doing.
The Brock Bowers play with
that
the Carson Beck.
First off, wasn't Carson
come on, one more
Beck.
time.
Was not Carson Beck. It was Brock Vandegrift.
I thought Carson made the goofy face.
I thought it was too.
Maybe. Either way,
But long-haired, red-bearded Vandergrift was behind him.
he was. He was.
Yeah.
I very well remember watching him on the sideline for that play. My top 5 person. Now, this might not be a comprehensive ones that you'd rank on list. Number 5 for me, J.R. Reed's strip sack in 2017. That was the first moment where I was like, oh, we're beating the hell out of them. Georgia was up 28-0 at that point. The strip sack made it 35-0. It was just an utter beatdown of a Florida team that you hadn't beaten in 3 years. And it was kind of the moment where I was like, oh, this Georgia team's different. This is a very, very good football team. They were undefeated at the time, so beating the hell out of Florida was a lot of fun. Number 4 for me is, like we said, the Gator Stomp. It's one of the first Georgia-Florida memories I have consciously of watching No. Sean Marino dive over the pile, get in, and then seeing the entire Georgia sideline run on the field. I was 5 or 6 years old, so I didn't fully comprehend what was happening, but my dad and all the adults that were in the room were going crazy and jumping and shouting and screaming, so I was like, this is cool. I don't know why it's cool, but it's cool. Number 3, here you go. Brock Bowers' touchdown catch in 2022. It's one of my favorite moments for a different reason. I was actually in Milledgeville for this game at a Halloween party, and there was one of my friends who's a Florida fan
What'd
there.
you go as?
I don't remember. I'm not going to say it on air.
Must not have been legendary.
It was. I'm not saying it on air.
Oh, it was cancelable?
No, it wasn't cancelable.
Tell me after the show.
I'll tell you after the
I'm
show.
yearning for this information.
But so watching that play with a Florida fan next to me and going, oh, so this is the type of game we're going to have was a lot of fun. And by the way, Brock Bowers tipped that ball like 9 times. Very fun.
Sorry.
Number 2 moment for me, and Jay, well, this kind of overlaps with yours. The 2012 game as a whole has like 5 or 6 incredible moments. The Sean Williams stop on 3rd down is so underrated, where he knocks out a Florida defender or Florida Gators wide receiver. Todd Gurley's Gator Chomp, obviously the Malcolm Mitchell touchdown, the Jarvis Jones fumble, the first fumble for Jeff Driscoll on that first drive of the game that led to the Todd Gurley touchdown. Just all around great moments.
Yeah, I think that one thing that people kind of forget about that 2012 game is that it was kind of an ugly game. I mean, there was a
Aaron
lot
Murray
of
had
turnovers.
like 3 touchdowns. Or 3 interceptions.
Yeah, he had 3 interceptions. Florida had 4 turnovers, I want to say, in that game. Like, it was a defensive battle grinded out. And then in, like, the last 3 minutes, like, you just had 2 massive plays that ultimately won the game. I mean, it was not the prettiest of games, but definitely, like, an iconic matchup from this rivalry.
When we do segments like this, there is a realization of just how much of a knowledge gap there was for me with regards to this.
Yeah.
This time, I can't do these segments. Like, my brain, I just remembered, like, it's all 2019 and beyond. I could go through every single one. Like, in 2019, I know for a fact that was the first time Jake Fromm had thrown for 30 attempts or more and won a game, right? Mm-hmm. I remember 2020, I think you start that football game off with a 75-yard touchdown truck toss to the field. Zamir White for 75 yards. Zamir White. Goes 75 yards.
Untouched, if I remember correctly.
Georgia was rolling early in that game.
Like, I can do that, but prior to, like, when I was playing ball or when I was in high school, it's just like I don't remember. Yeah, the Jarvis play is the last one I remember. Like, I remember the Noshawn scoring over the pile, and then we stormed the field. I remember Big 77 doing this, look a little, little hips was moving a little too loose for me, big fella, like, type deal. But that's it. All the other stuff is a total talent and knowledge gap for me, and that's unfortunate because I'm sure there were. But that era of those two teams was not very good.
2012.
Am I wrong?
2012 was
14 was the last year Georgia was really good until Kirby came back around, right?
Was
that 13? Was
13 was the last, and 13,
then 14 was another 75 random.
14 was they were not good. 15 they were not good. 16 they were not good. Florida won all those games.
14 and 15 was where Florida had like a turnstile at quarterback and had like okay quarterback play, but just
Will Muschamp was defense in it.
Ran the ball all over Georgia.
Yeah, just triple optioned you one time.
Yeah,
just embarrassing stuff. But my number one moment, for me personally as a Georgia fan, is the 2021 game because it was my first trip to Jacksonville. It was my first year living in Athens as a student. Went with my family, went with my friends. Being in that environment, being able to experience that, and then the defensive explosion that happened in the final minutes of that first half where Nolan Smith rips the ball out of Anthony Richards' hands, and that immediately leads to a James Cook touchdown. Then he tips the ball, and then Trayvon Walker tips the ball, and Nolan Smith catches it again, and you get a 50-yard bomb to Kyrus Jackson. Then the pick six from Nakobe Dean. That whole moment, that whole weekend together was one of my favorite Georgia-Florida moments as a Georgia fan.
Cooking.
Yeah, dude.
What a great call from Scott Howard. It's I still think it's my favorite one.
Yeah.
Now, in the Natty, he's going through COVID.
Dude, Scott Howard.
That's just laying it on the line.
Because I remember.
On the line. Gutty performance. That's his flu game.
Mm-hmm. I remember getting home at 3 a.m. being like, I can't wait to watch the Scott Howard highlights for this, and listening to him being like, oh my God, is he okay? Like
he wasn't.
No, he was sick.
It was his flu game. I love Scott Howard.
Yeah. Great dude.
15, 10, 5, dinner's cooking. Nakobe Dean, touchdown. Woo!
I believe that in that national title game against Alabama, I remember Scott Howard saying, like, I'm kind of hoping this one doesn't go to overtime, ladies and gentlemen, because I don't know if I have much left.
Flu game.
Yeah.
It was a legendary call. I'm
waiting for some more from Scott. Also remember how did Eric Stokes' pick six not get a mention?
Because it was in a losing effort.
Oh, they lost that game?
2020.
Oh, yeah, Kyle Trask.
Yeah. Ooh. That was the
Boy, that ball caught him. Y'all remember that?
Yeah.
Well, that was
that
when
ball almost got lodged in his face mask.
It's funny because at that moment, Stetson had already gone hurt. He was balling, he gotten hurt, and he'd come back in. It wasn't the same. I was like, this might be a problem. And then Eric Stokes had that pick six.
Oh, Chad's got a great shout. Go ahead.
And it was like, you know what? I think we're going to be okay. The defense is playing pretty well. And then obviously we know what happened at the end.
How about that time y'all came out in them black helmets with the red face
we
mask and
talked
Brandon
about
Spikes eye gouged?
That was 2000.
Is that the same year?
2000.
The eye gouge the same year?
No. Eye gouge was 2008.
Yeah.
Black
Sean Ely was the victim of that eye gouging?
Correct. That's an elite pool. I'm surprised you remember that name.
Look at you. You remember more than you think.
Black helmets was 2009 when Tim Tebow broke Herschel Walker's rushing record, and I got in a fight in the backyard with a Florida fan who said, see, Tim Tebow's better than Herschel Walker. I was like 8.
He's a short yardage merchant, you clown.
I mean,
Did you Tebow on him?
No, dude. I was anti-Tebow at this moment.
Bro, Tebowing was such a thing. Tebowing walked so planking could run.
It's an interesting
That's
take.
the take.
It's a very interesting take. But no,
into planking?
Planking, like in general?
You strike me as like a good planker.
Oh, I mean,
you'd be a good 2x4.
That was definitely something that we often had to do for basketball.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no. You don't know what I'm talking
Like
about.
I know what you're talking about, like the viral trend
planking,
where you did it.
where you
No.
just lay flat like a plank in odd
Yeah.
areas. You didn't plank?
Dude, what?
Oh,
I'm
man.
completely
I know-
missing what you were
I know
saying
what I'm
right
I get
now.
what you're talking
You
about.
make me want to plank right now to explain what it is.
I have no idea what you're talking
That
about.
would be. He's gonna do it. This is planking. See, this is what you do planking, and you would either do it on like your kitchen counter, or like some teachers would do it at their desk in school, and they'd post it on their social medias, and it would go viral.
like on a chair.
Yeah. really
hard to balance on.
Yeah, stuff like that.
Do it on a light pole one time.
Like you see people do it on bar stools and things like that,
Yeah,
and it goes
no,
viral.
you're completely missing me right now.
But no, I get what you're saying. But no, I don't think that was ever in the cards for me.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, that Florida game was
I had no
I just saw it.
the 2008 to 2010 run of Georgia-Florida games, I think, is what really cemented that, okay, I am a Georgia fan through and through. Because I watched them beat the hell out of you in 2008, the Black Helmets in 2009, where Riley Cooper's ass was looking like prime Randy Moss. And then 2010 with the overtime loss, and Florida had those god-awful Nike Pro uniforms. So those 3 years were really cemented. I'm here for the long haul.
I remember a buddy of mine grew up, Eric Lloyd, shout out to him, diehard Florida Gators fan growing up. Boy, did he have a run from 08 to whenever the Urban Meyer thing got done. Boy, did he have a good time.
Sickening.
Been a while. And I see your face.
Underrated song.
Underrated series, underrated rivalry.
I think it's properly rated.
Where would you put it?
I think that this, I think
Like not in Georgia lore, but like in college football lore, where does this one sit? Because to me, it's behind Oklahoma, Texas.
Yeah, I mean,
That's fair.
To me, it's behind Auburn, Alabama.
That's fair.
To
It's
me, it's
behind the-
behind Michigan, Ohio State.
yeah, like and what I was gonna say is like, and this is why this rivalry ranks behind those, in my opinion, is because this rivalry is arguably the best when both teams are good.
Mm-hmm.
Like when both teams, like especially like back before college,
Yeah.
like before divisions got taken away,
Yeah.
when both teams were good, it was who is going to Atlanta. This
Those-
game is going to decide.
Those
that.
other three rivalries we mentioned, though, those are anytime they
Exactly.
line it up,
Like,
it's going to be a
yeah.
great
No
game
matter-
of
And I think-
rivalries. This
Exactly.
one isn't that.
Well, I think another thing
When
that's
there's a talent disadvantage, it's 14 points.
yeah, I was gonna say I think another thing that's hurt this rivalry is the games haven't been particularly close.
Yeah.
Like other than 2019, they've all been 2-score victories dating back all the way
Have their primes, or like when they're at their peaks, have they ever matched up? Because like when Urban was running, you guys were Aaron Murray 10-11 win good. When Steve Spurrier was running, y'all didn't have no smoke for that dude.
No.
Had no smoke for that dude. And now they don't have smoke for you.
So they were really good against each other in 2012. The 2006 to 2008 run, they were both good teams. But again, even in 2008, Florida beat the hell out of Georgia. And in 2007, Georgia won that game by, I think, 12 points. So, like, the matchups have never been, like, down to the wire, legendary cutthroat moments. Like, other than the Lindsey Scott touchdown run, the biggest moments of this rivalry have come in absolute beatdowns. Oh, this game was decided long before the fourth quarter ended. And I think that's what's kind of hurt. Like, Auburn has the Gravedigger and the kick six and all of these moments that make that rivalry so much better. The game has its own long list of those. Like, Georgia-Florida doesn't really end in a close finish, and I think that's hurt it overall.
Of the 7 wins that Kirby has against Florida, he's won those games at an average margin of 21 points.
Dude, and the loss was by double digits, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Both losses have been by
Yeah.
double digits.
Yeah, man, this is a weird one.
It's a weird rivalry. They hate each other, and it's still like anyone's game. But like, if you're winning this game, history states you win it by a good bit.
And one thing I do appreciate about this is that even though Florida is down right now, that fan base is going to show up to this football game because that's a party.
Oh, it's a cocktail
That's
party,
a
brother.
party. That's a party we're going to be a part of this weekend.
No doubt.
Parking lot P, we're going to be pushing P and hamburgers with cheese. We'll see you there Saturday in Jacksonville, and we'll see you here tomorrow for a loaded day of content. Love you. Bye.